He is a sect leader without any cultivation. But Yiguching, who created the heavenly flying immortals, had to respectfully call him Big Brother. It turned out that he awakened the strongest sect system. As long as he successfully accepted a disciple, he could summon powerful figures from all realms. The man's name is Wang Feng. In his previous life, he was also a social animal. He died suddenly and came to the Xianlan continent. In this world, cultivators are all superior beings. Mortals are destined to toil their entire lives. As for the newly arrived Wang Feng, he was forced to be scammed by a cultivation expert before he even landed. This made him realize that he was just a nobody. Fortunately, he has a golden finger. But unfortunately, the current system is useless. It can only be activated by completing the first task. If you fail to complete it, you will be forcibly erased. So he can only follow the requirements. With only one thatched cottage, establish a sect and recruit a disciple within 3 days. Just when Wang Feng was at his wit's end, a fat man came to the sect. It turned out that in order to marry a wife, he went up the mountain to seek refuge in a sect. But no one would take him in. So he came to the immortal sect founded by Wang Feng with his last hope. After seeing that the sect only had one thatched cottage, I was just about to turn around and run. But I found an extra pendant on my leg. The fat man asked curiously, "Who are you?" "This humble one is the sect master of this immortal sect. Wang Feng is my name. I see that your bones are exquisite. You must be a 1 in 10,000 cultivation genius. After careful consideration by this sect, we are willing to accept you as a disciple." "Are you trying to fool a 3-year-old? What sect, what disciple? This is your immortal sect? Isn't it just a broken thatched hut? You don't look like a good person. But a dying man has no bottom line." 1. Wang Feng grabbed the fatty. Under the 2.5 minutes of pua, the fat man began to lose himself gradually. "Well, fantasize about yourself cultivating immortality." The picture of saving a lost girl. So happily handed over all his belongings. Wang Feng saw that the task was about to be completed. Also showed a ant smile. But just as he was about to take the cloth bag, the fat man clung to it and refused to let go, and issued a soul torture. "What if I can't be a god? And I can't stand dieting? You have to promise me big fish and meat every meal." Faced with the fatty's many unreasonable demands, Wang Feng wanted to give him a big brawl. But seeing that the time limit had arrived, he could only reluctantly agree in good conscience. The fatty, hearing this, finally relaxed his grip. "Congratulations." Just as the cloth bag left his hand, disciple. The system prompt, strongest sect system successfully activated. Open the attribute panel to view rewards. Hit. Thus, Wang Feng was just about to open the panel, when the fatty suddenly hugged him tightly. "Sect Master, you are such a good person. Not only did you accept me, but you also dote on me so much. My own mother has never treated me this well." And Wang Feng now only wanted to check the rewards. After sending the fatty away, he opened the panel again. After seeing his character attributes, Wang Feng was numb. He felt like he was a 3-no product. However, he had one chance to summon and one chance to draw a lottery. The summon could summon the strong from all heavens to be his subordinates. The summoned person belonged to the sect .1 list, and could teach the disciples of the sect for the host. Hearing this, Wang Feng thought of the desolate scene when he first came to this continent, so he did not hesitate to use the summon opportunity. A moment later, a white-haired young man appeared. This amazing vision scared the fat man. He rushed into the house. I wanted to tell Wang Feng the news, but found him leisurely drinking tea. So the fat man pointed outside and said loudly, "Brother, you are still in the mood to drink tea? It's the end of the world outside." Wang Feng immediately came outside excitedly. It turns out that the previous white-haired boy, it is Baiyun City Lord Yiguching. But Wang Feng was puzzled. This world of immortality talks about the realm of cultivation. Yiguching is a master of swordsmanship. I just don't know if I can fight here. So he opened Yiguching's attribute panel with doubts. Total, Wang Feng, who didn't know the realm, complained. Elder Yi is only at the peak of the King Ho realm. This scared the shit out of the fatty on the side. You know, in the entire Radiance Empire, the 8 Marquis mirror was already a top-notch powerhouse. Seeing Fatty's reaction, Wang Feng was also relieved. As expected, A powerhouse is a powerhouse wherever they go. At this moment, Yiguchin walked up to Wang Feng and bowed respectfully. This humble one is Yiguchin. Eve met the sect master. Elder Yi, there's no need for formalities. This action directly shattered Fatty's worldview. He had lived for so many years, but he had never seen a Marquis realm powerhouse salute anyone. What kind of divine being was this sect master? Seeing that Fatty had become much more docile, Wang Feng then asked the system, "What is the use of another lottery draw?" The lottery draw can draw the physique of the summoned, bloodline, cultivation base, etc. Bloodline, once drawn, can be used by sect disciples, or the host can use it himself to summon strong. Wang Feng was very excited when he heard this. Wouldn't this mean taking off on the spot? Hurry up and draw for me. I didn't expect to draw this time. 10% of Yiguchin's cultivation. At this time, the system prompts, "Please choose to use it yourself, or give it to the disciples in the sect." Wang Feng thought to himself that he was still immortal. It is useless to give it to his disciples without improving himself. Under the notification of the system, 10% of Yiguchin's cultivation can elevate himself to the early stage of the incoming prime realm. But Wang Feng didn't know whether it was strong or weak, so he asked Fatty about the division of the immortal cultivation realm. It was learned from Fatty that this world is divided into foundation building, profound veins, spirit communication, human prime, prince, profound king, profound venerable, 10 major realms such as profound saint and profound emperor. Although Wang Feng looked down on the 5th ranked incoming prime realm, but it was better than being immortal now. Thinking of this, he immediately began to absorb. With the golden light flashing from the successive breakthroughs, Wang Feng felt full of power. He could hear everything around the canyon clearly. Ning Pengzi saw this and broke the defense again. Where did the sect master get this monster? I have to hug this thigh. So he rushed to Wang Feng. Then he cowed out violently. This disciple will definitely cultivate diligently. I will never fail to live up to the sect master's cultivation. At the same time, a young girl came riding a bird in the air. This also successfully attracted Wang Feng's attention. Yiguchin reminded him. This woman should be a cultivator, and the foundation and cultivation are both good. It is a person of the same way. From my fairy sect above the past, we should say hello. Elder Yi, you might as well go and say hello. Yiguchin heard the words and clenched a long sword in his hand. The well inserted it into the ground and shouted, I don't know which way the friends in the sky are. Please come down and see me. After saying that, he instantly drew his sword. I saw a gust of leg wind rising from the ground. Wang Feng was shocked to see it. A greeting from a Jianghu child. Do you have to make such a big scene? The woman's face turned pale when she saw this leg wind. Then step on Kun Kun. A sudden break barely stopped in front of the hurricane. At this time, a leaflet floated in front of the woman. She thought it was some kind of hidden weapon, so she quickly pulled out the sword from her waist. Directly stabbed the leaflet in front of you. At this time, Yiguchin shouted loudly, Don't destroy the items of my sect. After saying that, he slowly pulled out his long sword. Then he swung his sword. I saw the sword energy instantly converge on the leaflet. It was directly smeared on the woman's face. The woman fell to the ground in response. Wang Feng saw that Yiguchin was too rude, so he ordered the fat man to say hello. The fatty walked towards the woman with his hands and feet. This female immortal, are you alright? Seeing this, Yiguchin withdrew the spiritual power from the leaflets. Only then did the woman feel relieved. Then she cursed angrily. Who the hell littered? Hearing this, Wang Feng calmly stepped forward. This is not garbage. It's a leaflet from my immortal sect. The woman first glanced at the leaflet. Then she asked, Is this the immortal sect? That's right, I am the sect master of the immortal sect. At this moment, the system prompted. Congratulations to the host for discovering a genius. Trigger new task. Accept 10 disciples. Rewards are 10 summoning and lottery chances respectively. Wang Feng was overjoyed. This time there are so many rewards. Just now I only accepted Fatty, a useless disciple. And in exchange for Yiguchin, a master of swordsmanship. If I can accept this woman as a disciple this time, wouldn't that mean I'm going to soar to the top? So he asked the woman, Young man, I see that your bones are extraordinary. You are a once-in-a-lifetime cultivation genius. our sect has carefully considered. Before he could finish, Wang Feng felt guilty. After all, this woman can fly with a sword. Her strength must be extraordinary. This trick might work on the fat guy. But it definitely won't have any effect on her. To his surprise, the woman said, "The flyer says that the immortal sect is recruiting disciples. Do you think I'm good enough?" He was a sect leader with no cultivation. But the talented young woman was eager to join his sect. This also made Wang Feng overjoyed. He didn't expect such a good thing as a pie falling from the sky could actually fall on his head. But the system told him, if the other party doesn't pay the entrance fee, it is not considered a successful disciple recruitment. Forced by the situation, Wang Feng could only reach out and ask for it. Although you intend to join the sect, you must abide by the rules of the immortal sect. Therefore, please hand over all your money as an entrance fee. But the woman used a secret technique to subdue men. The art of acting coquettishly. Sect master brother, I left in a hurry. And didn't bring any money. Do you think I can make it up later? Once this move was made, even Wang Feng, who has a hand speed of 200 and could hardly resist. However, this was a mandatory requirement of the system. So he wanted to refuse. But unexpectedly, a group of strong people suddenly appeared behind the woman. My beauty, why aren't you running away? This Marquis just got a little interested. Even your father can't save you. These two-legged monkeys, what can they do for you? Hearing this, the woman immediately hid behind Wang Feng. Lin Yun, don't be complacent. I am now a disciple of the immortal sect, in front of our sect master. How dare you commit such an inhuman act again? At this time, Lin Yun laughed up to the sky. Just relying on a few monkeys? You have to know that the dog slaves raised by this Marquis have all reached the Xian general mirror cultivation level. The woman trembled with fear when she heard this. At this time, Wang Feng thought, I thought it was a pie from the sky. How could I know that I am the pie of others? It seems that this apprenticeship is a bit uncertain. But then Fatty broke the peace. Little sister, you don't have to be afraid. It's just a profound general realm. Our sect master can kill them with one finger. The little brothers gritted their teeth when they heard this. They can't wait to rush over and tear Fatty alive. You, this dead Fatty, only knows how to cause trouble for me. Although I am one level higher than them. But I have no actual combat experience. Wouldn't it affect my apprenticeship if I lose? So I was just about to reply. But the female fire immediately took the lead. Thank you, sect master, for your help. Wang Feng had no choice but to give up, seeing that things had come to this. Don't worry. With this sect master here, no one can believe. But it seems that he has forgotten the existence of Yiguqing. At this time, Lin Yun was obviously impatient. What kind of monkey business are you guys doing? Go and kill him for me. After saying that, several younger brothers shot directly at Wang Feng. At this critical moment, Wang Feng found their movements extremely slow. He casually bent the incoming saber. It seems that in this world of immortality, it is true that a higher realm can crush people to death. I wanted to use them to practice. But in front of the disciples, if I were to fight them back and forth, wouldn't that be too embarrassing? So he immediately shouted, Yiguqing. Upon hearing this, Yiguqing immediately drew out Fei Hong. In just 2.5 seconds, he killed all the younger brothers and put Fei Hong on Lin Yun's neck. The woman on the side was greatly shocked. You know, even the Xianjiang realm, in the whole Yaori Empire, it is considered to be above average. He was able to kill 5 Xianjiang with one move. I'm afraid he has reached the realm of king and marquis. And on the other side, Lin Yun has long been in a cold sweat. Could it be that only this move can be used? He cupped his hands. Junior Lin Yun has eyes but fails to recognize Mount Tai. Please spare this junior. If I leave this time, I will definitely let my father, Marquis Chanlin, prepare a generous gift for you. However, Wang Feng didn't care at all. I don't care if you are Marquis Chanlin or Short Lin. As long as you dare to come to this sect, you will be destroyed. The woman on the side heard the words Marquis Chanlin, so angry that she gritted her teeth. It turns out that the Chanlin home mansion has a huge force. Lord Lin Tianxiu not only has the cultivation base of the king and marquis realm, but also has a branch of 500, and also in charge of a 500-strong Chanlin army. Captain among them, there is no shortage of highly cultivated military leaders certified than Fugong, the empire's first. Strength is comparable to some medium-sized sections one within the empire. So they can do whatever they want. Persecuted me and I can only escape. However, the sovereign of this divine immortal sect doesn't take Channeling Marquis Mansion seriously. Maybe he can really avenge me. Wang Feng was also startled by his sudden kneeling, so he asked quickly, "What happened to you? Why did you suddenly perform such a grand ceremony, sovereign?" "At first I was indeed to avoid disaster. That's why I joined the divine immortal sect. But now I am sure the sect master will definitely uphold justice for the Ling family." Wang Feng was very curious when he heard this. "What exactly is the grudge between you and Lin Yun?" This disciple, during a training expedition, encountered young Master Lin Yun of the Channeling Marquis residence. Who would have thought that he coveted this disciple's beauty and attempted to violate me, but I narrowly escaped. I thought this matter was over, but after pushing open the door of my home, I discovered that Lin Yun had actually brought experts from the Channeling residence and slaughtered hundreds of my Ling family members. Under the desperate protection of my father, I had the opportunity to escape from the jaws of death. The hatred of killing my father is irreconcilable. If only I could personally take revenge. After today, this disciple will give his all for the sect master. Rest assured, regardless if you are a member of this sect or not. This matter, our sect will definitely uphold justice. He was a good-for-nothing sect master with no cultivation, but he was able to reach the human appearance realm in a second. Even the formidable Yiguqing had to obediently become his younger brother, all because the man awakened the strongest sect system. As long as he continuously takes in disciples, he can summon the strongest experts from the heavens. He can also draw prizes to obtain supreme cultivation power. Just now, Wang Feng promised Xiaowu that he would uphold justice for her. However, the captured Lin Yun was not being honest. He was seen putting his hand into the soil. Then a cloud of dust arose, taking advantage of the opportunity to escape. Wang Feng looked at Lin Yun, who was about to escape. Not only was he not panicked, but he started complaining. The villain in the comic at this time, shouldn't he be resisting with his head held high? Or just kneel down and beg for mercy? Why doesn't this guy play by the rules? He looked at Xiao Wu, who was worried. He quickly comforted her. "Don't worry. With Elder Yi here he can't escape." With Wang Feng's order, I saw Yiguqing slowly pull out the flying rainbow. In an instant, white energy overflowed from his body. The surrounding crowd hung in the air. At this moment, Wang Feng was secretly unhappy in his heart. Why does Xiao Yi every time he makes a move have to make such a big scene? Next time I have to talk to him properly. On the other side, as Yiguqing jumped high, instantly came to Lin Yun's head. Before he could react, a move celestial being scattering flowers was chopped down. I saw white energy straight to Lin Yun's head, accompanied by bursts of screams. The Fei Hong's sword was sheathed. Lin Yun and his men fell to the ground. At the same time he fell to the ground, a jade pendant flew out from his chest. Seeing this, Xiaowa's heart skipped a beat. She hurriedly ran over to catch the jade pendant. Lin Yun was already lying on the ground like a dead dog. According to the sect master's meaning, young Master Lin has already stayed. At this time, Xiaowa was extremely surprised. She thought Yiguqing was strong, but she didn't expect him to be so strong. Especially the move just now, Tianwai Fei Xian, flying dagger from beyond the sky. Even if Marquis Chanlin came in person, he probably wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. The divine immortal sect has such a figure as an elder. Logically speaking, they should have been famous all over the world. Why have I never heard of it? Right at this moment, Wang Feng interrupted her daydream. I know you just said you wanted to join the divine immortal sect. It was just a helpless act of self-preservation, but this sect sincerely wants to take you as a disciple. However, considering that my sect is a hidden great sect, you can make a decision after you are familiar with it. Looking at Xiaowa's face full of excitement, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel proud of himself. Haha, I am indeed a popular manga artist. The plot and pacing are perfectly controlled. At this time, Xiao Wu handed over a jade pendant with both hands. This jade pendant is a Ling family heirloom. Today, I am grateful for the great kindness of the sect master for avenging me. I am willing to use it as my entrance fee. Wang Feng looked at the jade pendant and thought, I don't know if the system recognizes it. but there's no harm in trying. But the next second, Wang Feng was confused again. Why did Xiao Wu suddenly blush? It turned out that this jade pendant was extremely important to her. It was given to her by her father. It was used as a token of love in the future. When she was young, she felt, this is an ancestral jade pendant. I will never give it away. But who knows? Today, she gave the jade pendant to Wang Feng with her own hands. After accepting Xiao Wu as his disciple, Wang Feng also received system rewards, respectively, a summoning and a lottery opportunity. Then Wang Feng patted Xiao Wu on the shoulder. Now you are a disciple of the immortal sect. Your grudge is the grudge of the sect. You can take an interest first. Xiao Wu's eyes instantly filled with killing intent upon hearing this. She picked up a branch from the ground, slowly walked towards Lin Yun, who was like a dead dog, the hatred of extermination, as deep as the sea of blood. If I don't avenge this revenge, I am not worthy of being the eldest daughter of the Ling family. After saying that, she directly pierced Lin Yun's chest. Lin Yun, you stole my ancestral jade pendant and played with me. Have you ever thought about today? You are high above. Think that with a strong backing you can cover the sky with one hand. Have you ever thought about today? Xiao Wu's ferocious appearance frightened the fat man beside her. Sect Master, little junior sister she. Well, let her vent. Father, Xiao Wu personally avenged you today. You can see it below. Meanwhile strong. Hit the system prompt strong. Congratulations to the inner disciple Ling Fei dance. Get kill Xianjiang territory strong door value. Get 300 points of sect value. Seemingly harmless fat man. I didn't expect it to be a top monster. But Xiao Wu couldn't even be ranked among the top talents. Right after she personally avenged her father, she thumped her knees on the ground. Thank you, Sect Master and Elder Yi, for helping Xiao Wu avenge this blood feud. From now on, Xiao Wu will live as a member of the Divine Immortal Sect, and die as a soul of the Divine Immortal Sect. This sect is merely providing you with a platform for cultivation. As for whether you can become a true powerhouse, ultimately it still depends on yourself. After saying that, Wang Feng helped Xiao Wu up. But remember this. Our Divine Immortal Sect fears no one. Since there's blood feud. Even if it's someone who holds up the heavens. And I will kill him with pleasure. Hearing this, Xiao Wu was stunned. Tears slowly flowed from the corners of her eyes. I will live up to the cultivation of the Sect Master. At this time, Wang Feng's heart was incomparably beautiful. I am indeed a popular cartoonist. The old man's control of the human heart is simply perfect. But now the big words have been blown out. What will I use to teach others then? She's not like that idiot fatty. Just casually say something like becoming a prime minister in a year. And she will be deceived. Just at this time, Elder Yi stepped forward. Are you cultivating the way of the sword? Hearing this, Xiao Wu immediately cupped her hands and replied, Yes, Elder Yi. Are you willing to take me as your disciple? Seeing this, Wang Feng quickly started to make a scene. Elder Yi taking the initiative to accept a disciple. It's harder than a stone blossoming. You silly girl, what are you still standing there for? Xiao Wu understood immediately upon hearing this. She immediately knelt down and saluted. Disciple greets master. Your sword momentum is not bad. But before I impart my swordsmanship to you, we must first deal with the internal injuries you sustained while being hunted. Get up quickly. Come with me to heal your injuries. At this moment, Wang Feng was also very gratified. Originally, the sect was just him, a solitary figure. Now, not only did he have Protector Yi, but he also had a talented and intelligent disciple like Ling Fei Wu. The key was that he didn't even have to teach her himself. It was truly too wonderful. However, the fatty at the side became sad. Little junior sister entered the sect later than me. Yet, she could become the disciple of a strong expert like Elder Yi. As the eldest senior brother, how could I let little junior sister surpass me? Immediately, he turned to Wang Feng, who was at the side. Sect Master, may I know what arrangements you have for me next? Wang Feng patted the fatty's belly. Look at your figure. You should lose some weight. Go, tidy up around the thatched cottage. By the way, sweep it clean. This is the face of our immortal sect. The fatty despaired upon hearing this. But he could only do as he was told. He could only be seen pulling weeds, while complaining. Before recruiting me, you spoke so highly of everything, praising me like a treasure. As a result, as soon as little junior sister arrived, I became like grass. However, on the other side, Wang Feng was happily checking the reward. Last time, recruiting Fatty, he was able to draw Yi Guqing. This time, he recruited Xiao Wu. What big shot could he draw? But when he saw that the elder limit was only 5, Wang Feng immediately dismissed the idea. The sect decided to keep it and draw it later. At this time, the sect value at the bottom of the interface caught his attention. So he quickly asked the system what its purpose was. He learned from the system, sect value can not only be exchanged for lottery chances. It can also be used to upgrade the system. As the system level increases, it allows the host to summon stronger experts and magic weapons, and accommodate more disciples and so on. Wang Feng's eyes straightened when he... Then what are the ways to obtain sect value? There are 3 ways to obtain sect value. First, complete the system's release tasks. Second, kill the enemies who dare to attack. Third, recruit top geniuses into the sect. Hearing this, Wang Feng was puzzled. Xiao Wu was able to cultivate to the peak of the spiritual connection realm at the age of 18 or 19. She must be considered a top genius, right? So why didn't the sect value increase when she joined the sect? Unexpectedly, under the system's evaluation, Xiao Wu failed to reach the ranks of top geniuses. Out of curiosity, Wang Feng inquired about his own talent. However, the system's assessment was relatively moderate. But when he asked about the fatty's aptitude, the system prompted that exploring the fatty's aptitude requires 100 sect value points. Upon hearing this, Wang Feng cursed under his breath. This is too dark. To investigate a mere mortal, it actually costs 100 sect points? But driven by intense curiosity, he clicked on the investigation button. However, the system's assessment left Wang Feng completely dumbfounded. The fatty was actually ranked among the top demon lords. Holy cow, this guy can even be ranked among the top prodigies? He's a good-for-nothing, lazy bum. But he possesses the world's most special physique. His lifespan rivals heaven and earth. And he even has the strongest defense in the world. Right after Wang Feng finished examining Fatty's aptitude, he unexpectedly discovered that he could be ranked among the top demon lords 7 small. This scared him silly. Just this thing could be ranked among the top demon lords? But the system was extremely certain. Fatty possessed the body of the profound spirit turtle immortal. It was just that it hadn't been activated yet. At this moment Wang Feng was very puzzled. What exactly was this profound spirit turtle immortal body? He learned from the system's notification. The profound spirit turtle immortal body was the top special physique in the world, possessing absolute defense and absolute lifespan. As long as it didn't suffer fatal damage, it would be eternally immortal and have an inexhaustible lifespan. What was even more terrifying was the defensive power that his body carries. Even if heaven and earth were shattered, he could still be carefree and unrestrained. Upon hearing this, Wang Feng was directly dumbfounded. This dead fatty actually possesses such a heaven-defying physique. Doesn't it mean that as long as he cultivates this body to its peak, he will become immortal and indestructible? Therefore, Wang Feng made up his mind to definitely cultivate this fatty. When the time comes, wouldn't it be great to have him as a meat shield in a fight? But the question now is, how to activate the fatty's mystic spirit turtle immortal body. On the other side, the fatty, unaware of the situation, was getting narcissistic by himself. In his eyes he was the most handsome and strongest man in Xianlan continent. This extremely shameless operation made the system want to beat him up. However, the way to activate the profound spirit turtle immortal body is to constantly get beaten up. Wang Feng was extremely surprised when he heard this. What the hell? Get beaten up? The turtle immortal body needs a constant stream of beatings. Only in this way can it stimulate the blood vessels in the body and make it fully awaken. As soon as these words came out, Wang Feng was overjoyed. He had wanted to look for some kind of heaven and earth treasure, but he didn't expect that he could just get beaten up. This is not simple. At that time, arrange Xiu as long as she does not kill him with its own immortal body. It should recover quickly, right? At this moment, Fatty suddenly felt a chill. Before he could think about it, I saw a white energy burst out. He was so frightened that he immediately hugged Wang Feng's thigh. Sovereign, what's going on with the cyclone in the sky? Wang Feng was actually unclear, so he asked the system what happened. It turns out that this is a sign of heaven and earth. It is a sign that Xiaowu is about to break through the Xianjiang level. This also surprised him. I didn't expect Yi Guqing to help Xiaowu heal. She actually broke through? So he told Fatty. This anomaly is a sign that your junior sister is about to break through. Fatty felt like he was struck by lightning upon hearing this. Junior sister alone in the divine immortal sect. Not only did she become the disciple of the peerless expert Yi Guqing. Now, in less than a day, she has broken through in her cultivation. On the other hand, he himself was still immortal. If this continues, he's afraid that even his identity, as senior brother, would not be guaranteed. Seeing this, Wang Feng pinched Fatty. You don't need to be disheartened. Tomorrow, this sect will teach you cultivation. With time, surpassing your junior sister. It's not impossible. But the premise is that you can withstand it. Upon hearing this, the Fatty patted his chest and guaranteed. Thank you, Sect Master, don't worry, I can definitely withstand it. This sect also believes your body can definitely withstand it. And this sect is also looking forward to it. In the future, when you break through to the Xian general realm, will it cause an even bigger commotion? Little did they know. The commotion caused by Xiaowu's breakthrough was actually noticed by the recently awakened demonic cultivator. Jia. Unexpectedly, this devil has slumbered for hundreds of years. Upon waking, to be able to obtain a profound general realm ration, truly exciting, to become this devil's food, is also your honor. After saying this, he shot out like an arrow, flying straight towards the place of Xiaowu's breakthrough. He is the profound great devil who dominates one side. But he was mercilessly mocked by a fat man with no cultivation, yet the great devil did not dare to kill him. Not because he was too awesome, but because he was afraid of dirtying his hands. It turned out that it was the vision of Xiaowu's breakthrough that attracted the great devil who had just awakened, because urgently need to recover strength. Then to the immortal sect shot, on the other side, as the vision constantly retracts. Xiaowu successfully broke through to the Xian general realm. Wang Feng also took advantage of the situation to obtain 1,000 points of sect value. At the same time, his heart was also a burst of secret joy. This little girl is indeed a genius, just entered the door. It's only one realm away from me. Fortunately, I have a system. Otherwise, she caught up. Where can my old face be placed? Just as he was daydreaming, I saw Xiaowu hurriedly cupping her hands in thanks. Thank you, Sect Master 1. Give me this opportunity. This but a side of the fat man jealous bad. A mere Xian general state count what? Wait for me this as a senior brother for a year. That's what powerful. And Wang Feng then went with the flow. After that, follow Elder Yuel. In the future, this sect hopes that you can be the name of the immortal sect. At the same time, the great devil had come behind Wang Feng. Leaf. I thought there was only one Xian general state food. I didn't expect there to be a few more ants. It can barely be swallowed. Upon hearing this, Wang Feng immediately summoned the system, and spent 100 sect value points to investigate its complete origin. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will not be imperiled in 100 battles. This person gives me such great pressure. I even feel that Yi Guqing may not be able to defeat this person. Therefore, it is better to know more comprehensively. Soon the system informed Wang Feng that his cultivation had reached. This person was 1,000 years ago. The great demon of Xian Sha, who really disrupted the Sun Empire at the Xian Emperor realm. He was sealed by the Emperor of the Sun, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the Xian Emperor realm. After being defeated by the Emperor of the Sun Empire, he was currently in a state of just breaking the seal. His cultivation is only at the peak of the King Ho realm. Wang Feng this just relieved. Fortunately, it is not the peak state. Otherwise, Yi Guqing alone cannot stand. Who knows the side of the fat man clambering up? Who are you? How dare you commit my immortal sect? 00 Do not hurry up and get out. Otherwise my immortal sect Elder Yi will let you die without a burial place. Dugwan looked at the shabby thatched cottage. The heart is extremely disdainful. Immortal sect? What kind offering out of the sect? This devil has never heard of it. And you fat man, are you tired of living? You dare speak to this great demon with such disrespect? Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh when he saw this. Unexpectedly, this fatty actually has such guts. As a mere mortal, To dare scold a powerhouse at the peak of the King Marquis realm? On the side, Xiao Wu hurriedly reminded him, "Senior brother, this fire aura is no weaker than Master's. At the very least, he's also a King Marquis realm cultivator." The great demon saw that someone knowledgeable had arrived, and burst into laughter. "This little girl of yours actually has quite the eye. I'll let you see my precious treasure later." Who knew that the fatty wasn't afraid at all? What if you're a King Marquis realm cultivator? Isn't there still the Sect Master? And the Sect Master said, 1 year to reach human transformation realm. 3 years to reach profound emperor realm. Crushing him is just a matter of a finger. A tiny ant, daring to run wild in the divine immortal sect. It's like a little turtle jumping off a cliff, courting death. These words actually really scared the great demon. He looked at Wang Feng with great confusion. Although he felt that he had some cultivation, it shouldn't be that exaggerated, right? However, Wang Feng at this moment, "My heart is full of helplessness. Now I finally understand. Why does Fatty have the body of Xianling Turtle Immortal? He's really good at courting death." The great demon, who came to his senses, immediately shouted angrily, "Is there no one to take care of this fool? I don't even want to kill him because I'm afraid of getting my hands dirty. Someone come out quickly. Let's have a fight." Upon hearing this, Wang Feng signaled to Yi Guqing, "You hold him off first. I'll make sure he never comes back." After saying that, he used the second summon opportunity. Yi Guqing, who went to battle. With just one sword, he smashed the incoming evil spirit. Unexpectedly, a surge of evil energy attacked him from behind. By the time he reacted, he was firmly trapped by the evil energy. "I thought the elder Yi you mentioned was so powerful. But it turns out he was so easily captured." Xiao Wu was anxious to see her master trapped. "Sect Master, please help my master. You underestimate your master too much. How could mere demonic claws trap Yi Guqing?" As soon as the words left her mouth, a beam of sword energy penetrated the restraints and shot towards the great demon. Even though he tried his best to resist, his palm was still pierced by the sword energy. He was also knocked to the ground. He looked at Yi Guqing, who was slowly approaching. He sighed in his heart. This gully Chuan actually hides a strong Marquis realm, and this swordsmanship is too pure. He is a man with his own BGM. He is also Yi Guqing's lifelong enemy. His invisible swordsmanship can be called unique, even in the face of the great demon Xian Sha. It can also be killed in one sword. Just now, the great demon was knocked to the ground by Yi Guqing. At this time, he was not going to hide his clumsiness. I saw that his body was filled with evil spirits. Must find some face back. But at this time, Fatty ran out to make a monster. I saw him pointing at the big devil as a burst of wild spray. "Yo, can't beat it, want to run right? Where is such a good thing? Unless you crawl under me. Otherwise, don't even think about running away intact." As soon as this is said, directly to the great demon Qian Hongworm, "Dead fat man. Yeah. You open your dog's eyes and take a good look. I'm going to use my best move. You blah blah believe it or not I." And without waiting for him to finish, Wang Feng punched the fatty in the face. Afterwards, the fatty had an innocent look on his face. "Sect Master, why did you hit me? I saw a mosquito on your face." Actually, what he was thinking was, "This damned fatty is so damn punch-worthy. I almost forgot he was on our side." At this time, the great demon looked at the scar on his hand and teased Yi Guqing. After breaking the seal, "You are the first person who can completely arouse my appetite. As a sign of respect for you, I have decided to tear you apart with my own hands." After saying that, a giant blood-colored handprint was seen. It had already reached the top of Yi Guqing's head. Xiao Wu, who was at the side, was very worried, but he was in no hurry. He took the opportunity to hang Fei Hong in front of his chest. Then he went straight to meet him with a move of Tianwai Feixian. When the two touched, the wind was strong and the earth shook. Accompanied by a rumbling explosion, the entire valley was razed to the ground. But the thatched cottage of Shengxianzong, it is still as strong as ever. Although the great devil unleashed his ultimate move, Shao San Comics, but Yi Guqing is still intact. At this point he began to worry. Yi Guqing's strength is only slightly inferior to mine. If I do my best, although I am sure of killing him, but that old guy will definitely notice that I have broken the seal. Then I can only flee. So I decided to go low-key first. Wait till my power recovers and then fight again. Upon hearing this, Yi Guqing put away Fei Hong. Sorry, you are afraid you can't leave today. My purpose of holding you back has been achieved. Just as he was speaking, heavy snow suddenly fell from the sky. Wang Feng was overjoyed. This is a sign from heaven and earth. Looks like he's coming. At this time, the big devil was clueless. Who are you talking about? Upon hearing this, Yi Guqing replied, Originally, I didn't know. But at this moment my sword told me. He is my lifelong enemy, Shimentrishue. The big devil panicked upon hearing this. Originally, Yi Guqing alone was already a headache. Now, another strong man, no less powerful than him, has arrived. It seems that today is likely to be a GG, so he ran away. Of the 36 stratagems, fleeing is the best. However, how could Shimen Piaoxue let him go? He saw his 2 fingers condensing qi. Then he casually waved it out. The big demon's neck instantly exploded. It looked at the invisible sword condensed from his 2 fingers. Shocked, it was also very curious. An invisible and formless sword? Just by condensing the sword momentum, one can kill. What kind of swordsmanship is this? However, Shimen Piaoxue only replied lightly. I just casually swung my sword. It can't be considered swordsmanship. It's not even worth bothering to name it. One is the sword immortal Yi Guqing. The other is the sword god Shimen Piaoxue. The 2 were destined enemies, yet both were willing to study under a good-for-nothing. Even the mighty Xiansha Demon King could not escape this fate. Just as Shimen Piaoxue wounded the Demon King, Wang Feng, who was standing aside, couldn't help but sigh. Unexpectedly, this time, he had summoned Yi Guqing, the only opponent in his life. Although both of them have reached the realm of sword in their hearts, but logically speaking, Yi Guqing should be stronger than Shimen Piaoxue. But the system told him. The Shimen Piaoxue summoned this time was the one after the decisive battle at the Forbidden City. At that time, his swordsmanship had already reached its peak. He has already reached the realm of having no sword in his heart. All things in the world can be his sword. Naturally, he is slightly stronger than Yi Guqing. Upon hearing this, Wang Feng suddenly realized. If that's the case, then it's understandable. Now, the Divine Immortal Sect also has a sovereign profound realm expert in charge. It won't be long before it becomes bigger and stronger. However, at this moment, Yi Guqing held the rainbow sword. He pointed it at Shimen Piaoxue and said, I didn't expect that after the battle at the Forbidden City, we would actually meet again in this way. He also understood that Yi Guqing wanted to determine the victor between them, so he gently pushed aside his long sword. You are not my opponent yet. Wait until you break through to the sovereign profound realm, and we'll fight again. Then he cupped his fists, and saluted Wang Feng. Shimen has seen the sect master. Please forgive me for being late. Meanwhile, I saw the great demon struggling to get up. At this time, he was panicked. If this elder Yi made a move, I still have some confidence to retreat unscathed. If it were this elder Shimen, there might be a glimmer of hope. But if this mysterious sect master made a move, then I will surely die. Although he looks like he only has the cultivation of the human appearance realm, but the experts of the sovereign profound realm were so respectful to him. His strength must be terrifying. Since this devil is destined to perish here today, then I must take someone down with me. With that said, he charged straight at the fatty. The fatty burst into tears of fear at the sight. What the hell? No martial arts ethics. You just said killing me would dirty your hands. But now that you can't win, you're picking on me, a soft persimmon. Fortunately, Yi Guqing intervened in time and saved the fatty. But he was still slightly injured. As Fei Hong slowly returned to its scabbard, the fatty also immediately fell flat on his face. Although the Divine Immortal Sect is strong, but encountering this kind of desperate one, a genius like me might really be prematurely lost. It seems that I can't be so carefree in the future. At this moment, Shimen Piaoxue's 2 fingers condensed qi into a sword. Then he pressed it against the back of the big devil's head. Sect Master, how should this person be dealt with? Upon hearing this, Wang Feng stretched out 2 fingers. This sect now gives you 2 choices. Either hand over all your belongings, join our immortal sect, or we'll use you as fertilizer to nourish the flowers and plants on the mountain. The reason for doing this, Wang Feng thought that if he could fool him into joining, He would be able to earn sect points for recruiting strong people. If he does evil again in the future, it won't be too late to kill him then. Upon hearing this, De Guang immediately shouted angrily, "Demons can be killed, but never humiliated." But at this moment, Fatty came to make trouble again. He chose the second path. "I will bury him with my own hands later. Then I will pour some 35 degrees Celsius boiled water on his grave, guaranteed to make the flowers and plants of our divine immortal sect flourish." As soon as these words came out, Wang Feng was furious. "Why are you everywhere? After this, I must help you train, beat, into the body of the turtle immortal." Who would have thought that as soon as he finished speaking, Fatty was punched again. He looked at Xiao Wu innocently. "Junior sister, why did you hit me?" "Senior brother, I saw a mosquito on your face." "Why do these mosquitoes only suck my blood? Could it be that even they know that what flows in my body is the blood of a genius?" At this time, the great devil was so angry that he couldn't wait to tear the Fatty apart. However, Wang Feng grinned. "This sect knows that you are arrogant and conceited. How about this? You join us for a year first. If you want to go back on your word after a year, you can leave at any time." The great devil was stunned for a moment. He thought he would resist, but unexpectedly, he handed over all his belongings. Wang Feng couldn't help but complain as he took the money bag. Such a hard mouth. But the body is quite honest. At this moment, the system prompted. "Congratulations to the host for successfully recruiting the great demon Qian Sha. Reward 10,000 sect value points, and a random summon opportunity." Wang Feng was overjoyed when he saw this. "I didn't expect the reward for recruiting the great demon to be so generous. It seems that if there is a chance in the future, we must recruit more strong people. He is clearly a useless sect master, but the best experts are rushing to join his sect. Even the dilapidated thatched cottage of the past, now it has transformed into a luxurious house filled with celestial energy, and is about to usher in the world's most beautiful woman." Right after Wang Feng subdued the great demon, he also got the generous reward as he wished. At this time, a thought crossed his mind. Now that the reward is in hand, if he is really a great demon who harms the world, it is not impossible to get rid of him now. So he spoke up and tested. "What exactly do you mean by the rations you just mentioned?" Upon hearing this, the great demon gritted his teeth, and had no choice but to tell the truth. "This is just a hobby of mine, just to satisfy my cravings and intimidate others. I don't really eat them." Wang Feng was stunned when he heard this. Then he asked the system if what the great devil said was true. 0 after getting a positive answer. He also had a helpless look on his face. Then, after the two looked at each other, they all laughed with ulterior motives. Wang Feng couldn't help but secretly complain. "Damn, you're a dignified great devil. He was once a peak powerhouse in the profound emperor realm. You still need to intimidate others to satisfy yourself? How cheap do you have to be to do such a thing?" And the devil thought to himself, "Damn it, if I wasn't afraid that you would resent eating food, kill me directly, I would never tell the truth." However, Xiao Wu and Fatty on the side saw indeed another scene. A few words made Qian Sha great demon such a strong person willingly join the divine immortal sect. The sect master's methods are truly terrifying. Just at this time, Wang Feng suddenly turned and walked towards the thatched cottage. "Alright, stop staring outside. Hurry up and follow me. It'll take you to the real location of the divine immortal sect." As soon as these words came out, Fatty and Xiao Wu were filled with anticipation. I knew the location of the divine immortal sect. It couldn't be just a thatched cottage, and the great demon was immediately relieved. "I can't believe I've provoked an ancient, hidden sect. Otherwise, how could a sect with just a thatched cottage possibly have experts like Xian Huang and Wang Ho? I'd like to see what this so-called immortal sect is really like." After everyone entered the thatched cottage, the already cramped space immediately became extremely crowded. Then, Wang Feng took out a token and shouted, "Open!" The token slowly hung in the air. After a loud bang, it formed a magnificent golden gate. Everyone was amazed. The great demon's jaw almost dropped. What kind of sect? Its residence is actually within a secret realm. To think that they are able to establish their residence within it. Just what kind of terrifying hidden sect is this? Furthermore, secret realms are extremely rare in Xianlan continent. Every time one appears, it's bound to stir up a bloodbath. because only those stronger than the Xian Emperor realm are capable of opening up secret realms. Within them, there are even more treasures left behind by many great powers. To think that such an inconspicuous sect has actually directly occupied an entire secret realm? This represents that the deity sect was at least founded by a Xian Emperor realm expert. It also represents that the deity sect possesses the legacy of a Xian Emperor realm expert. If this devil lord could obtain it, then am I not going to take off? When everyone stepped into the secret realm, a grand hall filled with ethereal mist suddenly appeared before everyone's eyes. On the huge stone tablet at its entrance were written the 4 characters of Shangxianzong. At this moment, the great demon's jaw dropped in astonishment again. Everyone else also showed expressions of delight. After arriving in front of the hall's gate, Wang Feng turned around and said, "You are free to choose from these attic rooms, but do not trespass into any forbidden areas." After arranging everyone, he pushed open the gate himself. What came into view were numerous majestic stone seats, and in its center was the sovereign's throne. Wang Feng, after taking his seat, secretly made up his mind. One day, I want this hall to be filled with Xian Emperor realm experts. After saying that, he summoned the system, and used the newly acquired random summoning opportunity. Unexpectedly, this time he actually drew a girl, and she was Yao Yu, known as the most beautiful woman in the world. She was the most beautiful woman in the Shifting Flower Palace, and also the top expert among women. But now she had to obey the orders of a good-for-nothing. It turned out that when the group arrived at the true location of the Divine Immortal Sect, Wang Feng used the summoning opportunity he had just obtained. Didn't expect this unexpected good luck. Actually randomly summoned the world's most beautiful woman, Yuhua Palace Master Yao Yu. So Wang Feng immediately checked her attribute panel. According to the system introduction, Yao Yu is a certain dragon martial arts novel character, the Grand Palace Master of Yuhua Palace. Martial arts and beauty are the best in the world, even more able to compete with the world's #1 divine sword. Yan Nantian is on par. Cultivation has also reached the early stage of the Xian. A single-hand Mingyu Gong, shifting flowers and connecting jade is amazing. Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh when he saw this. It seems that she is indeed worthy of Xiaoyer and Hua Wuk. The woman in is the top expert, really powerful. Just at this time, I saw numerous ice flowers falling on the stone slab. Wang Feng looked up to find the source. First, a jade foot slowly stepped out. Then a cold face emerged. Finally, when her whole body appeared, her proud figure and slender legs directly stunned Wang Feng. Is this the most beautiful woman in the world? Even if I had broken my hand from drawing in my previous life, I probably wouldn't be able to draw her beauty. After Yao Yu landed, the first thing she did was to greet Wang Feng. Yao Yu, greetings, Sect Master. At this time, Wang Feng felt a secret delight in his heart. To have the most beautiful woman in the martial arts world lower her head to me. This feeling is too awesome. But his mouth said, "There's no need for formalities. From now on, you will serve by my side." Hearing this, Yao Yu immediately replied, "Yes, Sect Master." After saying that, she sat down on the stone chair. But the cold air emanating from her body made Wang Feng's small body tremble. So he asked her to leave for the time being, and wait until he went out to serve by his side. Yao Yu bowed and left. Wang Feng couldn't help but complain. This woman's cultivation of Mingyu Gong is too terrifying. Even if she doesn't deliberately circulate her energy, I'm almost frozen staying with her. After leaving the main hall, Yao Yu casually slipped into a guest room. It just so happened that after she entered, the great demon pushed the door open from next door, and kept muttering, "This is strange. Isn't this immortal sect an ancient hidden sect? How come there are only those few strong ones? Where are the other strong ones? Could it be that this immortal sect is just an empty shell?" Having said that, he prepared to check the door to see if anyone was in the room. Unexpectedly, as his foot approached the door, a gust of cold air blew towards his face. Before the great demon could react, his foot turned into a large ice cone. He also took advantage of the earth. After recovering, he looked through the crack of the door. He saw a charming woman, reclining on the sofa, saying in a cold voice, "If you dare to eavesdrop again, there is only one end for you, and that is death." The great demon instantly retreated to the side of the house after hearing this. At this moment, He was frightened into a cold sweat. Another Xianhuang realm expert. It seems that the mighty figures of the immortal god sect have all fallen into slumber. This one was probably awakened after being touched by me. I was exploring those attics one by one before. It was practically courting death. Throat, the dignified great Xianxia demon. How come as soon as I was born, I have been constantly pinned to the ground and beaten? It's really fucking depressing. But being able to hug a thigh is also this demon's ability. Others want to hug but don't have this opportunity. Xiao Wu, who seems to be a delicate and clinging vine, unexpectedly, also a violence maniac. This but hard on the chubby fatty. Right after the crowd settled down in the divine immortal sect. The next morning, Xiao Wu then arrived outside Fatty's house. Looking at her face full of worry, Fatty couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. So he curiously asked, "I wonder what brings junior sister here so early in the morning?" Before he could react, Xiao Wu's hand was already holding Fatty's cheek. "Senior brother, I apologize." After saying that, it was a big brawl. Only a loud bang was heard. Fatty directly flew out backwards. As he landed, the entire floor trembled. Looking at the fat man who couldn't get up, Xiao Wu wanted to go forward and check, but he immediately sat up again. Then looked at Xiao Wu in disbelief. "Junior sister, what are you trying to do?" But Xiao Wu was extremely shocked, thinking that the sect master really didn't lie to me. Senior brother really has a terrifying physique. That blow just now, I used 1/10 of the power of the Xian general realm. But senior brother is immortal. How could he still stand up unharmed? So she said helplessly, "Senior brother Xiao Wu, this is also for your own good. You hit me and you still say it's for my own good? Junior sister, with your posture like this, it's clear that you covet my position as the senior brother of the immortal sect. You want to kill your senior brother and usurp the throne." Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu also told the truth. "Senior brother, you're overthinking it. It was the sect master who asked me to spar with you. He even specifically instructed me. He said, don't worry. As long as I don't beat you to death, I can hit you however I want, because the sect master said you have a supreme divine body." The fatty was astonished to learn this. Supreme? Divine? Body? Why don't I know about this? Junior sister, just tell me honestly. Have I done anything wrong to offend the sect master? Senior brother, you are such a joker. You really have a supreme physique. Nanny? Could it be that I am truly a peerless genius? But that's not right either. See, a peerless genius shouldn't cultivate as easily and freely as drinking water? But why am I still immortal? Hearing this, Xiao Wu explained, "That's because your physique has not yet been activated." After listening, the fatty asked impatiently how to activate it. Who would have thought that in the next second, was kicked right in the face by Xiao Wu's flying kick. It's very simple, just being beaten. I never thought this kick would have a cosmetic effect. Directly kicked the fat man out of Karen posture big eyes. At this time, the fat man quickly begged for mercy. Junior sister, show me the beanbags. Or should the sovereign come? However, Xiao Wu replied playfully. The sovereign was afraid that he would accidentally slap you to death. So let me temper you first. Looking at Xiao Wu's hand knife surrounded by aura, he was so scared that he almost peed. And at this moment, Wang Feng, listening to the bursts of pig-killing screams from the attic, I couldn't help but feel emotional. With such a good junior sister who devotes all her effort to helping her senior brother, Fatty will definitely be able to activate his physique and become a peerless genius. If it weren't for the sake of the sect master's image, I really want to do it myself. Beat him into the body of Xianling Turtle Immortal. He was originally a Muggle sect master, but he was able to reach the human appearance realm overnight. Even the 3 top experts rushed to become his disciples. Now he is ushering in a counterattack. Not only has his cultivation level jumped several levels in a row, he also learned the signature skills of the 3 elders under his sect. Yi Guqing's flying immortal from beyond the heavens, Shimen Chuik's radiant swordsmanship, Fairy Yayu's bright jade technique. Let's see how Wang Feng will stand on top of the world, looking down at the masses who were like ants in a building. But he didn't know. Someone had already set their sights on him. At this moment, on Lishao Peak, which was surrounded by clouds and mist, stood many tall buildings. Above the main hall's plaque were written the 4 large characters of Lingyun sect. Although many people were gathered inside the main hall, the atmosphere was as silent as death. And Chen Feng, the sect master, was even more worried. At this time, Grand Elder Chiao Wanfeng said, "The Demon Sealing Conference is about to begin. But our Muggle young master Chen Xian is unable to break through to the Xian general realm in a short period of time. This time, I'm afraid the demon sealing list. It seems we're out of luck again, Lingyun Sect. Sect Master, just look at these old geezers. If this goes on, our sect will soon become a retirement home." But Chen Feng didn't agree. He stated that this demon sealing conference was crucial. He insisted that they must find a way to compete. Moreover, the demon sealing ranking was directly related to joining the Radiance Academy. They couldn't miss this opportunity. However, Chiao Wanfeng poured cold water on his enthusiasm. This time, that esteemed individual specifically instructed that only the younger generation disciples are allowed to participate in the demon sealing conference. But in the entire sect, only the young master has reached the peak of the spirit communion realm. Wouldn't it be a wasted opportunity to send him? Where will the sect's face be put then? As soon as this was said, sighs lingered in the hall. Just as everyone was silent, Chen Feng suddenly had a brainwave, thinking that since he couldn't count on the people in the sect, it's better to borrow arrows with thatched boats. So he asked hurriedly, "Recently outside the Xingyao Mountains, have there been any strange events?" Chiao Wanfeng stroked his beard and replied, "Some time ago, the Ling family in Yaofeng City was exterminated by the Chanlin Marquis mansion. Only Miss Ling family escaped. It is said that she has been pursued by the young Marquis to the periphery of the mountain range. And then there was no more news." At this time, although Chen Feng felt it was a pity, but the Ling family's matter actually involved the top level of the Yaori Empire, and that Miss Ling family is now a plague god. We must never get involved with her. At this time Chiao Wanfeng brought up another strange thing. According to the disciples' report, yesterday in a valley on the periphery of the mountain range, there was a breath of Xianjiang realm. It may have just broken through, Chen Feng learned. Immediately jumped down from the seat. If, as you said, could it be that there are younger generation of loose cultivators, found an opportunity in the periphery of the mountain, so he broke through to the Xian general realm? At that time, the disciple didn't dare to go near to investigate. He only felt this aura from afar. He still couldn't be sure. At this moment, Chen Feng was instantly overjoyed. If he could get this young genius to replace our sect in participating in the demon sealing assembly, he would definitely be able to win a place. However, Chiao Wanfeng was worried. If that young man already had a sect, what should he do? If he is a disciple of a large sect, then so be it. If he is a disciple of a small sect, then he would first destroy his sect, and then completely keep him in our Lingyun sect. This matter will be left to you to handle, Yi Yejia. Meanwhile, inside the vast immortal sect, Wanfeng is using 10,000 sect points to exchange for a 10 draw, accompanied by a phrase primordial spirit activate. Countless system rewards surrounded him. Then he did not hesitate to put all the cultivation and profound skills pouring into himself. A moment later, I saw countless balls of light pouring into his body. At this time, he is no longer a chicken that anyone can handle, and truly became the face of the entire immortal sect. He was originally recognized as a garbage sect master, but top bosses were all scrambling to become his disciples. Now he has become the strongest in the world in one fell swoop. It turns out that he has the strongest sect system. As long as he keeps accepting disciples, he can summon all the gods and demons. What kind of experience is it to lie down and become stronger? But today, the immortal sect welcomed an unexpected guest, Chiao Wanfeng, who came here under orders. After seeing the sect's plaque, his expression was full of disdain. What kind of crappy sect is this? How dare you call yourself immortal? My Lingyun sect is the largest sect on the periphery of the Xingyao Mountains, and we don't even dare to call it that. The key is still to use a thatched cottage as the sect's residence. Even dogs would shake their heads when they see it. Who would have thought that? As soon as he finished speaking, the walls of the thatched cottage collapsed with a loud crash. Along with it came a giant bloody fist. Before he could react, he had a close interaction with the blood fist. Unable to bear this love, Chiao Wanfeng directly buried his head in the wall shyly. This sudden humiliation, one it made him, who had been walking sideways in the sect since he was a child, furious, so he hurriedly started barking. How dare you sneak attack me, you scoundrel! You should know that I am the elder of Lingyun's sect. If you dare to hit me again, my sect will definitely let you not be able to live, not be able to die. However, just as he was barking, Wang Feng and the great demon had already walked in front of him. At this time, the great demon was very excited, thinking that finally a scapegoat had come to let himself vent his anger, and Wang Feng had a gloomy face. What kind of bullshit, Lingyun sect? Never even heard of it. You're barking at the gate of my sect early in the morning. What do you mean? Qiu Wafeng was shocked to see this. He couldn't believe it. Why would a small sect? There is such a strong person. Wang Feng saw that he refused to speak for a long time, so he glanced at the big devil beside him. Little devil, our Xinxian sect has always convinced people with virtue. This old baby is handed over to you. You have to let him speak willingly. The great demon understood. I saw him quickly condense a giant blood hand. Then he firmly grasped Xiao Wanfeng. At the same time, he shouted, "The little old man simply doesn't know how to live or die. If you don't want this stone to be your grave, I advise you to be honest." At this time, Xiao Wanfeng was frightened, thinking that this guy is talking about convincing people with virtue. But the attack was a heavy punch. If I didn't speak, I'm afraid by this time next year, my grave would be covered in grass. So I quickly explained. My name is Qiu Wanfeng, and I am the Grand Elder of Lingyun's sect. I came here to investigate the aura of the Xian general realm that appeared in the valley before. Master Feng pondered upon hearing this. This Xian general aura. It must be Xiaowu who just broke through recently. But what is the purpose of your investigation on this person? Because the Demon Sealing Conference is approaching, and my sect does not have a single disciple of the Xian general realm. Unable to compete for the ranking on the Demon Sealing list. Therefore, I came to search for talented disciples, bring back to the sect. But Wang Feng listened with a face full of question marks. Demon Sealing Conference? What's that? Qiu Wafeng was surprised. You don't even know about the Demon Sealing Conference? But what he thought in his heart was, this kind of rude and unreasonable small sect. It's not surprising that they don't know. Who would have thought that just because he hesitated for 2.5 seconds, the big face had a close interaction with the earth? Then he could only confess everything. The Demon Sealing Conference is held to suppress the great demon of Xiansha, who has been sealed for thousands of years. It is known as the once-in-a-decade grand event of the Yaori Empire, because the great demon of Xiansha is extremely terrifying. His whole body is full of pure demonic energy. Even if it is sealed, it will still escape, causing the place where he is sealed to be infected with demonic energy. Therefore, the Sun Emperor organized all the strong sects in the empire to kill the monsters infected by demonic energy, to weaken the strength of the great demon Xiansha. But this time, the Sun Emperor issued a decree, only allowing the younger generation of disciples to go. Therefore, also, in order to be able to win the top spot in the Demon Sealing list, they are now frantically cultivating their disciples, and looking for geniuses who are cultivating outside. At this moment, Wang Feng listened with a face full of enjoyment. It must be said, your vision is really toxic. In the vast sea of people, you fell in love with the main character of the Demon Sealing Conference at a glance. This also made the great demon on the side laugh. I didn't expect the Feng Guang conference. It was actually held specifically for me. At this moment, Qiu Wafeng had already listened to the sweat. His eyes were full of fear. Held for you? Could it be that you are? Who would have thought? Wang Feng, who used to be submissive. He suddenly became decisive and ruthless in killing. Just as he learned that the main target of this demon sealing assembly was the great demon who had just become his disciple, he couldn't help but feel a trace of worry in his heart. To make the lord of a great empire so afraid that he would hold the demon sealing assembly every 10 years, this Xiansha great demon must not be as simple as. So he turned his head and asked tentatively, "Little demon, you were sealed by so many great powers joining forces. How could you escape so easily?" Facing this sudden question, the great demon seemed to sense Wang Feng's intention, and could only answer honestly, "Master, to be honest with you, I have created a body-splitting technique over the years. Actually, those old men sealed away. Nothing but a clone of mine." At this moment, Wang Feng walked up to Qiu Wanfeng and asked about the demon sealing list. It turned out that the demon sealing list was the ranking list for this competition. AP is ranked by the number of demonically corrupted beasts slain. In previous years, the demon sealing list was only for older experts. But this time, only the younger generation was allowed to participate. Wang Feng was overjoyed when he heard this. It seems that this competition must have countless young geniuses gathered. Maybe I can take this opportunity to complete the system's disciple recruitment task. Later, when he learned that the competition would be held in a month, in his heart he couldn't help but feel secretly delighted. It seemed that there was still plenty of time. At that time, he must go and put on a good show. Just as he was lost in his thoughts, Jiu Wanfeng began to plead for mercy. "Boss, you already know everything you should know. Can you just let this old man go like a fart?" Wanfeng walked straight up to him. "It's very simple if you want me to let you go. Then you have to tell me honestly. If you find that person at the Xian General Realm, what will you do next?" "I will bring him back to the sect." Looking at Wang Feng's eyes full of killing intent. At this moment, beads of sweat were already dripping down his forehead. But what Chen Feng had confessed, he dared not speak. Seeing his silence, Wang Feng quickly ordered the great demon to exert pressure, to save his own life. Qiu Wanfeng could only confess honestly. If it was the people from the small sect who had destroyed his sect and cut off his escape route. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Feng turned his head indifferently. Then he stretched out his hand and gestured. "Kill him." The great demon immediately understood. He saw him clenching his left fist, only to hear, "You don't fight with honor." Then Qiu Wanfeng was instantly incinerated on the spot. Wang Feng also took advantage of the situation to obtain 500 sect values. At this time, the great demon's face was full of disdain. "This is the virtue of the great sect of the Radiance Empire? It's even more demonic than this demon. Sect Master, since you have already formed a grudge with the Lingyun sect, why not just go and destroy them all?" Wang Feng thought to himself when he heard this. Since this Lingyun sect can do such a domineering thing, it must not be a good thing either. And if they were to know about Qiu Wanfeng, I'm afraid that the Immortal God sect will have endless troubles afterwards. Thinking of this, Wang Feng already had an answer in his heart. "Well then, come with me and take a look." Meanwhile, inside the Chanlin mansion, the imperial capital of the Radiance Empire, a green Pishio is serving as a desk, and Marquis Chanlin, Lin Tianxiong, is leisurely admiring a daisy. After a while, he suddenly asked old Wang, who was beside him, "Why hasn't that boy Yuni come back yet? Isn't it just asking him to kill a remnant of the Ling family? Why would it take so long?" Ticket holder sign. This subordinate has sent someone to inform young Master Yuni. It is estimated that he may be on his way back. Just then, the token on old Wang's waist buzzed. "My lord, there is news back. It is estimated that young Master Yuni is afraid that you are waiting anxiously. First send the message back to report to you. This kid still has some conscience. He knows that his father is worried about him. Hurry up and take a look at the sound transmission symbol. I would like to hear what that kid has to say." But after old Wang finished listening to the sound transmission, his whole being was instantly in tears. Then he said with a trembling body, Cloud, young master. He's dead." Upon hearing this, Lin Tianxiong was instantly enraged. He directly slashed the Pishio beside him with one slash. "Who the hell is it? Hurry up and find out for me. How dare you kill my heir? I will definitely tear this scum alive. He is the mighty Marquis Chanlin. The ancient Pishio is his betrothed mount, but he is a 3-second man. He was nearly 60 years old when he finally had a son. Of course, his son did not disappoint him. He can be described as a murderer, arsonist, and robber who committed countless evil deeds. In the end, he also died tragically at the hands of Xiao Wu. Upon hearing this news, Lin Tianxiong was furious on the spot. He vowed to cut the murderer into 1,000 pieces. The next day, Yaori City was as peaceful as usual. The city was bustling with activity. Li Qingchen, the commander of the city guard. He was very pleased to see such a scene, but the next second, he found a mighty army, slowly walking towards the city gate, looking at the extremely familiar. His forehead also involuntarily broke out in a cold sweat, so he quickly jumped down, stood in front of everyone and shouted angrily, "Marquis Chanlin, Lin Tianxiong. You privately mobilized the Changlin army out of the imperial city. You know this is a crime of great treason. This Marquis naturally knows that this action is a betrayal of His Majesty's trust. But my only son died tragically in the Star Yao Mountains. After this Marquis avenges him, I will definitely come back and ask His Majesty for forgiveness. But in the face of Wang Feng, can he really come back? However, Li Qingqing was still extremely surprised when he heard this. You know, Lin Yunyi is his only reverse scale. I don't know who has the guts. He even killed his son. But just as he was thinking about it, Lin Tianxiong saw that he had no intention of backing down. Directly looked up to the sky and shouted angrily. Li Qingqing, I think you are the commander of the guards. That's why I'm giving you some face. If you still don't back down, don't blame me for doing it to you. Even if the King of Heaven comes today, no one can stop me from taking my son back. Just when he didn't know what to do, a voice came from the floating city. Qingqing, let him go. The death of his son has made him lose his mind. Although there is offense, but the situation is understandable. Let him come back to see me immediately. Li Qingqing, hearing the words, hurriedly saluted and let go. You go. After you come back, go and find your own sin. Lin Tianxiong is also very sensible. Thank you, Your Majesty, for your understanding. After I take Lin Yi back and avenge his blood feud, I will definitely go to plead guilty. Looking at the mighty army leaving, Li Qingqing could not help but sigh in his heart. It seems that there is going to be a bloodbath in the Jianghu again. The other side. Wang Feng has already brought Yao Yu and others to Lingyun Sect. Just landed and found. A purple-haired teenager is being surrounded. I saw him clutching his forehead and begging for mercy. I don't know where Li He offended the young master. I hope you will be magnanimous and not remember the faults of villains. Let me go. Rong Yi. This young master thinks you are somewhat handsome, so in giving you a kiss, you actually have the heart to dodge. Tell me, don't you deserve a beating? It turned out that this person was Chen Xian, the young master of Lingyun Sect. But at this time, several of his younger brothers also sighed. It can be said that heaven has the virtue of loving life. Thank you, Duonyang, for giving us such ugly births. Otherwise, sooner or later, our buds will blossom. If we weren't the three uglies of Lingyun Sect, the sect master probably wouldn't have chosen us to serve the young master. At this time, Chen Xian was getting more and more excited as he fought. His mouth kept on going. A chore disciple is a chore disciple. You can't even withstand a few whips. As expected, they are useless waste that looks good but is useless. However, Wang Feng, who was standing by the side, looked helpless. This young master of Lingyun Sect is so weird. And so cruel. It can be seen that this sect is not a good thing. Who would have thought that at this time, the system sent a prompt. Congratulations to the host for discovering a peerless genius. Wang Feng looked at the enchanting Chen Xian with a shocked expression. Holy crap, the peerless genius you mentioned, system. Couldn't be this thing, right? Looking at him appearing in the system box, Wang Feng almost threw up. As the camera constantly switched, fortunately it was this purple-haired young man, Li He. At this moment, Wang Feng was also puzzled. Peerless genius? Then how could he be bullied like this? She was the #1 snake-scorpion beauty in the world. But now she was being teased in person. And in the next second, the heads of those who teased her fell to the ground one after another. Just now, the system prompted Wang Feng. Xiao Haizi is that peerless genius. But he looked at such a weak man. A few drops of cold sweat involuntarily formed on his cheeks. Being beaten up like this can also be called a peerless genius? Could it be that he is like Fatty? Although he is immortal, but has a peerless physique? Thinking of this, Wang Feng jumped down. Quickly stepped forward to stop. Sissy, stop. No, shut up. However, Chen Xian had a look of disdain. I'd like to see. Who is the blind one? Who dares to shut me up? But when he saw Wang Feng's face, he immediately became delicate and sickly. Young master, I advise you to surrender. My fragrant kiss. Today it's your turn to enjoy it. Wang Feng almost laughed out loud. Then he said indifferently, Yao Yu, slap him in the face for me. As soon as he finished speaking, accompanied by a burst of cold air, Yao Yu had already arrived in front of everyone. Her stunning beauty. It made the three clowns drool. But Chen Xian was different. He was so angry that he was trembling all over. His pupils were bloodshot. This world will never allow. Someone is more beautiful than me. You guys quickly capture this woman. I will make her die. The 3 clowns quickly surrounded Yao Yu. Don't forget to tease before you start. Little beauty, you can fall into the hands of our Lingyun Sect's 3 clowns. It's also your luck. If I make a move, I'm afraid you can only beg for life and not death. At this moment, Wang Feng also squeezed a sweat for them. I, as the sect leader, don't even dare to flirt with Yao Yu. I don't even dare to think how miserable their fate will be. Yao Yu slowly placed her finger on the cheek of one of them. Then she gently swiped it. Following with a graceful turn, the 3 instantly turned into headless eye sculptures. This move also scared Chen Xian. Before he could say anything, Yao Yu had teleported in front of Chen Xian and pressed a single finger against his cheek. Who would have thought that just as he was about to die, Xiao Heizi reached out and stopped Yao Yu's attack. This also caused his arm to be frozen into an eye sculpture. Looking at his expressionless face, Wang Feng was very puzzled at the moment. Seeing this, Yao Yu also quickly withdrew her spiritual power. He insulted you like this. Do you still want to save him? At this time, Chen Xian, who was paralyzed on the ground, laughed loudly. Xiao Hei, as long as you kill them, this young master will give you 10 sweet kisses as a reward. As soon as the voice fell, I saw a palm. He clasped his neck tightly. Then he lifted it high. At this moment, Chen Xian still wanted to make a final struggle. Xiao Hei, how dare you? How dare you do this to me? And Xiao Hei's eyes were full of killing intent. I wanted to keep you until tomorrow, but you insisted on courting death. In order not to let you die at the hands of others, and leave me with lifelong regrets, I had no choice but to strike first. Looking at Chen Xian, who fell to the ground, he was somewhat relieved. This operation also stunned Wang Feng, who was standing aside. It seems that this peerless genius, Mitsui, is not as simple as I imagined. He is obviously a weakling sect master, but top bosses are rushing to become his disciples. Now there is another reincarnation of Emperor Xian. Just now, Li Hei directly broke the neck of the sissy young master, and Wang Feng looked at him, whose temperament had changed greatly. His heart was also full of curiosity, so he hurriedly switched out the system, asking why Li Hei is called a peerless genius, but the system shows exploration requires 1,000 sect points. Although Wang Feng felt sorry for the Li inspection technique, but driven by curiosity, he still did not hesitate to click the confirm button. It turned out that Li Hei's original name was Li Changgong. A wisp of remnant is the peak powerhouse of the Xuandi realm. After accidentally falling, because of getting a treasure, this is how he was reborn as the current Li Hei. Hearing this, Wang Feng couldn't help but shiver. You know, a Xian Emperor realm expert can destroy a country by himself. But since he had such strength in his previous life, why did he suffer bullying without fighting back? Wang Feng learned from the system's notification. The reason why Li Hei did this was entirely to hide the secret of his reincarnation. But anyone who had bullied him would not see the sun the next day. At this moment, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel ashamed. Compared to this person, he was just a small fry. Indeed, you can't judge a book by its cover. Then he asked, what cultivation level is Li Eru at now? After reading the system's introduction, Wang Feng fell into deep thought. He didn't expect that the bluff he used on Fatir back then, someone could actually achieve the human transformation stage in 1 year. He himself was able to reach the peak of the Xian Emperor realm. Now that his talent has skyrocketed once again, his future prospects must be limitless. No wonder he was recognized by the system as a peerless genius. It seems that only the divine immortal sect can accommodate this hidden dragon. After learning everything, Wang Feng hurriedly sent him an invitation. Brat, you just killed the young master of the Lingyun sect. I'm afraid there's no place for you here anymore. Why don't you follow me? This sect will definitely protect you. But Li Hei's eyes were full of disdain. You look like AI-kun. At first glance, it is a useless little white face. What qualifications do you have to accept me? Wang Feng didn't get angry when he heard the words. On the contrary, he appeared very calm. Sure enough, he is a little black man. But just because I know your origin, Li Changgong. Hearing these 3 words, Li Hei immediately fell into deep thought. In the entire Xingyao Mountains, there is simply no strong Xianhuang realm. But now this kind of master is actually willing to become this person's subordinate. And he doesn't seem to have any malice towards me. Why don't I go and find out what's going on? If the situation is not right, I will use that trump card. Thinking of this, Li Hei accepted Wang Feng's invitation. Who would have thought at this time? Only a deep voice was heard, lingering in the entire square. Who dares to touch my Chen Feng's beloved son? A moment later, I saw him trembling all over, walking towards his dead son. Looking at the cold body on the ground, Chen Feng's old tears streamed down his face in an instant. Then he immediately glared at Yao Yu, who was standing aside. The 3 ugly people I sent to protect Shiner. I'm sure you killed them. After getting a positive answer from Yao Yu, he roared like crazy in an instant. That means you must have killed my son too. In that case, don't even think about leaving Ling in Sect. As soon as he said this, the elders on the side repeatedly tried to bowl and borrow. Such a peerless beauty. It would be a pity to die like this. Li Hei just wanted to speak when he saw this. But Wang Feng, who was beside him, stopped him with his hand. What? You still want a life for a life? And just a second ago, Chen Feng, who was still immersed in the pain of losing his son. The next second, he flirted with Yao Yu. But as long as you give me another son, that would be a life for a life. Wang Feng couldn't help but complain in his heart. Damn, I almost thought he loved his son like his life. It turned out to be a lustful old man who forgets his son when he sees beauty. So he ordered Yao Yu, since he is so eager to see his beloved son, that let him have his way. As soon as he finished speaking, I saw Yao Yu slowly walking towards Chen Feng, her blue eyes full of endless killing intent. She was a peerless beauty with both martial arts and beauty. But now she was being publicly teased by a bad old man. He even uttered wild words. Let her give birth to a big fat boy for himself. But how could Yao Yu be accustomed to him? I saw her slowly walking towards Chen Feng. Her eyes were full of endless killing intent. But just as she was about to start fighting, Chen Feng patted his chest. Actually, this sect is also a person who loves beauty. In order not to hurt the harmony, why don't I give you a palm? If the beauty can dodge it, my son would have died in vain. But if you can't escape, then stay and bear me a big fat son. As for the words of Yao Yu Jing, he stared at Chen Feng intently. Seeing the woman's silence, he shamelessly said, since the beauty does not object, then this sect will take it as your agreement. After saying that, he saw countless white energies instantly gathered in his palm. Then he quickly leaped into the air. He shouted in a loud voice, Ling Yun palm. Facing the incoming giant palm print, Yao Yu actually did not have the slightest intention to dodge, and the palm print, when it came into contact with her, it did not cause substantial damage to it. Instead it formed a huge gas, trapping it in the air. A few seconds later, I saw a drop of blood fall from the air, then instantly turned into countless red needles, rapidly shot towards Yao Yu. Finally above the square, only a huge palm print remains. The elders of Ling Yun's sect who were watching the battle then understood. It turns out that the sect master's previous actions, it's all about confusing the other party, so that he can kill with one move. But this is too much of a waste of treasures. At least enjoy it first. But Chen Feng said, what about a peerless beauty? If you dare to kill my son, you will die. Li Hei on the side was very puzzled. He quickly turned his head and asked Wang Feng, you actually watched her being killed? You may have some misunderstanding about Yao Yu's fighting power. And which eye did you see her die? And just then, I saw a body fall from the sky. The elders were alarmed when they saw this. Sovereign, look, falling from the clouds. But it's our Ling Yun sect. Hearing these words, large beads of sweat kept dripping from Chen Feng's forehead. Before he could react, Yao Yu had already appeared above his head. Just now, that palm of yours, I dodged it. After saying that, she jumped down from the high platform. Blue spiritual energy surrounded her palm. Now this palm of mine. Let's see if you can dodge it. Looking at the woman who was gradually approaching, although Chen Feng was a little flustered, he still condensed a palm to resist. This sect master refuses to believe that you are really that strong. And at the moment when the two palms touched, a wall of ice stood in front of Chen Feng's eyes. In an instant countless ice thorns formed on top of the ice wall. They pierced straight towards him. After only 2 seconds, Chen Feng became a hedgehog. And as he wished he could see his own son. She is a peerlessly beautiful and skilled Xian Huang big shot. But now she is being publicly teased by a personal-looking old man. He even made wild claims, asking her to be his little wife. This completely enraged Yao Yu. With just one blow, she turned the old man into a hedgehog, looking at the fierce woman in front of him. The elders of Lingyun's sect were hiding aside, trembling with fear. They never thought that a peak expert of the entering phase realm, in front of this woman, would be so vulnerable, now that the sect master is dead, just when they didn't know what to do. Wang Feng said indifferently. In the name of the sect master of Shinxian sect, I announce that Lingyun's sect no longer exists in this world. You are all dismissed on the spot. After that, he took Yao Yu and left this place, looking at the two people gradually walking away. Elder Wang finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then he immediately changed his face. Don't think that saying a few harsh words. Lingyun's sect will be dissolved because of this, since the sect master and the young sect master are both dead. For the continuation of the sect, it seems that we have to choose the next sect master as soon as possible. But Elder Su on the side said tremblingly, Lingyun's sect will no longer have a successor sect master. His expression was full of fear. As soon as he finished speaking, I saw a huge ice mass. It was rapidly smashing towards the main hall of the sect. As it fell, there was only a loud bang. The entire sect was left with countless wreckage. Elder Wang looked at the scene in front of him. His heart instantly turned to ashes. Who would have thought that at this moment? A resounding voice echoed throughout the square. Where is Chen Feng? Elder Wang was instantly scared witless. For a moment he thought that the evil star had returned. But he never expected it to be Marquis Chanlin. Only then did he regain his senses. That's right, that evil star just left after killing Chen Feng. How could he come back to find him? But as he was lost in thought, Marquis Chanlin had already arrived in front of him, and asked loudly, Are you Chen Feng? Looking at the fierce Pixiu in front of him, Elder Wang stammered when he spoke. No, I am not. Our sect master is already dead. At this moment, Marquis Chanlin also revealed his intention. I am Marquis Chanlin of the Yaori Empire. Do you know who killed my son Linyuni? Seeing that his son was killed, Elder Wang was also shocked and speechless. Who in the world would be so bold as to dare to attack the son of a marquis? After some thought, he decided to shift the blame onto someone else. My lord, I know who killed your son. Hearing this, Chanlin House's eyes were bloodshot. In fact, the person who killed the young lord is also the murderer of my sect master. And that person claimed to be the sect master of the immortal sect. Here he comes. Wang Feng, who has always relied on his mouth for output, now welcomes another top boss, Sword Demon Yan Shisan. And just after the Yaoyu sect was destroyed, Wang Feng took everyone back to the immortal sect. The great demon, who was originally guarding the gate, after seeing Wang Feng's return, he immediately released Kun Kun, who had been playing with him for a long time. He came to Wang Feng in a flash. Without saying a word, he gave him a slap. The sect master is truly mighty. It only took 2 hours to annihilate Lingyun's sect and return in triumph. If this were in modern times, I wouldn't believe it if the great devil wasn't a lobby manager. At the same time, Li He also landed smoothly. Wang Feng on the side issued an invitation again. What do you think? Would you like to join our immortal sect? However, after seeing the sect's residence, Li He immediately wanted to retreat. Even though he was a peak profound emperor in his previous life, this sect he created didn't dare to call it the immortal sect. And this small sect in the middle of nowhere dares to take such a name. Simply do not know what it means. Thinking of this, his face was full of disdain. How can a sparrow know the ambition of a swan? Going on this trip with you, it's simply a waste of time. Hearing these words, the great demon on the side was instantly unhappy. In a flash, it locked onto Li Hei's forehead. In its eyes there was a monstrous killing intent. This demon advises you to speak well to the sect master. However, Wang Feng was not angry. Instead, he continued to calmly output with his mouth. Even if your past life was the peak powerhouse of the Xian Emperor realm, you are just a nobody right now. If you dare to make a move here, I'm afraid you won't gain any advantage. Upon hearing about such a powerful figure, the great demon quickly retreated to the side. Damn, this pretty boy is actually a reincarnated master. Even in my prime, facing such an existence, I would be like an ant with no power to resist. Seeing that he was still hesitant, Wang Feng took out the small world token, preparing to take him to see the true headquarters of the sect. He hoped that he could change his mind. As the entrance to the secret realm opened, the magnificent immortal sect instantly appeared before his eyes. At this moment, Li Hei's heart was also very shocked. Although the strong Xuandi realm could create a small world, but even himself in his previous life had never seen such a huge and perfect small world. This emperor wants to see what's going on. What is so mysterious about this sect? When he just walked into the main hall, Wang Feng continued to output. This sect knows that you have a treasure, but it is not yet qualified in my eyes. I have only one purpose for you. That is to join my immortal sect. But Li Hei didn't seem to change his mind. If I don't add people, what can you do? As Wang Feng snapped his fingers, Yi Guqing and Shimin Chuixue arrived at the sound. Seeing two more Xianhuang bigwigs in front of him, Li Hei instantly found it interesting. So you want to bully me with more and force me to add people? Relying on that treasure as a trump card. Even if the three Xianhuang realm powerhouses join forces, I can still retreat. Wang Feng just wanted to say something, but was interrupted by the sound of a long sword scraping the ground. Suddenly a terrifying pressure swept the entire hall. I saw a man in a black robe, appeared in front of everyone. What if there are four Xianhuang realm powerhouses joining forces? After saying that, he respectfully walked up to Wang Feng. Subordinate Yan Shi-san pays homage to the sect master. It turns out that this person is the newly summoned expert, Yan Shi-san, who possesses the peak strength of the Xianhuang realm. 7. It is said that he is in a certain young master's sword, a first-class swordsman who is obsessed with the way of the sword. 8. His lifelong wish is to compete with the sword emperor Xie Xiaofeng. Yan Shi-san's lifelong unique skill is the 13 swords of death. Later, he not only created the 14th variation, in the decisive battle with Xie Xiaofeng, he also created the 15th sword, representing destruction and death. He could have killed Xie Xiaofeng with the 15th sword, but he found that this sword only brought destruction and death. So in order to completely destroy this terrible sword, he chose to cut his own throat. Li Hei, after seeing Yan Shi-san, was also shocked, speechless. But after a few seconds, he started teasing Wang Feng, who was standing aside. You, being the sect master, only have the cultivation of Xian Emperor realm. Are you really worthy of being the sect master? Who knew that just as he finished speaking, Yan Shi-san's long sword was already hanging on his neck. It seems that the 15 swords of death needs to reappear in the world. But Wang Feng immediately stopped him. Elder Yan, please calm down. Isn't it just the peak cultivation of Xian Emperor realm? As long as our sect wants to have it, we can have it any time. Then he began to check the sect value he had. Looking at the numbers in front of him, Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh. He didn't expect to have 40,000 sect values in his hands so soon. Now he could really show off. Here it comes, Wang Feng. He was about to start showing off. In an instant, he stepped onto the peak of Xianhuang. With another finger, even Yi Guqing, who was at the Wang Ho realm, was successfully promoted to Xianhuang in a snap of his fingers. And just now, even though a long sword was hanging from his neck, Li Hei remained unmoved. He even began to taunt Wang Feng. You are the sect master, but you only have the cultivation of the Xianhuang realm. Are you really worthy of being the sect master? But Wang Feng listened, not only extremely calm, but also took the opportunity to order Yan Shi-san to put away his long sword. Then he looked at Li Hei with a disdainful face and asked, Isn't it just the peak cultivation of the Xianhuang realm? As long as I want to, I can crush anyone with a snap of my fingers. Then, after checking the existing sect value, he immediately exchanged it for 10 consecutive draws, along with a sentence of Yuanshan activation. I saw countless orbs of light carrying rewards surrounding Wang Feng. Immediately afterwards, he took 1/10 of Yan Shi-san's cultivation and applied it to himself. A moment later, a majestic golden light. It instantly poured into Wang Feng's body, and he successfully stepped into the peak of Xianhuang. At this moment, Li Hei was extremely shocked. His heart was full of doubts. Could it be that he has been hiding his cultivation level before? Or could it be that he can really, in an instant, advance to the peak of Xianhuang realm? Thinking of this, beads of sweat kept dripping down. Just as he was in a daze, Wang Feng stretched out his right hand and asked proudly. I accidentally reached the peak of Xianhuang. I wonder what else you have to say now. However, Li He was still stubborn. After all, he was once a man standing at the peak. How could he give in so easily? Even if the immortal sect has forced Xianhuang realm experts, they still can't force me to submit. At most, they can only fight me to the death. No, you've missed one. Hearing this, Li He didn't expect it either. This old six actually still had an expert hidden, so he hurriedly asked who it was. But Wang Feng gestured. It was Yi Guqing who was at the side. Seeing this, Li He was very puzzled. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? He is only a King Ho realm cultivator now. How can he cross that chasm? Wang Feng then waved his hand complacently. Although not now. But it will be soon. Have you ever heard of pouring from the air? Today I will let you open your eyes. You must have drunk too much sweet water. Full of nonsense. Even if I had the peak cultivation of the Xian Emperor realm in my previous life, I can't do what you call pouring from the air. Wang Feng on the side was also very helpless. I didn't want to pretend. But now I have to. You can't do it at the peak of the Xian Emperor realm. It doesn't mean I can't do it in the Xian King realm. Open your horse's eyes and watch me. Having said that, he quickly tapped Yi Guqing's forehead lightly, and ordered the system to take other cultivation bases, all blessed on Yi Guqing. In a flash, I saw Yi Guqing's forehead suddenly burst into golden light, then countless golden glows poured into it. Finally Yi Guqing also successfully stepped into the realm of Xianhuang. Looking at the successful promotion of the enemy of a lifetime, a trace of joy appeared on Shimin Chui's face. Thanks to the suzerain, I can happily find him for a duel again. But Li He on the side was extremely uneasy. Damn, he actually helped this elder Yi. Promoted to Xianhuang realm. And now facing 4 Xianhuang. Plus, this sect master in front of him. He had no chance of winning at all. Even if he wanted to fight to the death, he might not even be able to do that. But Wang Feng didn't make things difficult for him. Do you understand the situation now? Not only can I, the immortal god sect, restore you to your peak, I can even surpass your past. Seeing that things had come to this, Li He didn't dare to be stubborn anymore. I'll join you. But let's be clear, I'll only join for 10 years. I will leave when the time comes. And you are not to reveal the secret of the treasure on me. That broken treasure of his. Wang Feng naturally looked down upon it. He only wanted to subdue this reincarnation of the Xian Emperor, to obtain the system reward. Seeing Wang Feng agree, Li He also immediately wisely handed over all of his possessions, and he also therefore obtained a rather generous reward. Looking at the abundant items in the pop-up window before his eyes, Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh. It was truly worth the risk of facing off against the reincarnation of the This reward truly validated that old saying of high risk, high return. And at this moment, Marquis was also on his way. Just as Wang Feng subdued Li He, a new character was about to appear. Mu Yunfei, at first glance, just a weak scholar. In fact, he was a ruthless character. Even in the face of the hungry bear, he still didn't panic at all. He even laughed at himself. I didn't expect Jiang Taigong was right. I just stood here, and food came to me by itself. This amount is enough for me to have a full meal. But just as the black bear lunged at him, he suddenly found the sky seemed to be covered by something dark and oppressive. So he hurriedly opened his eyes to see. He discovered a dense rain of arrows, shooting towards him explosively. Only a loud bang was heard. The black bear, having undergone deliverance, fell to the ground with a thud. It turned out that all of this was the work of the Changlin army. Looking at the messy open space, Marquis Changlin was about to go down to collect the spoils. Who would have thought that at this moment, the black bear's body was actually constantly twisting, and then, even more miraculously, it stood up. It turned out that the black bear had long been dead. It was Mu Yunfei who was holding it up. At this time, he was seen calmly and unhurriedly, patting the dust off his body. The Pixiu under the Marquis Changlin was not happy. Directly in the mouth condensed the 5 elements of true fire. Then it sprayed towards Mu Yunfei, and he had a pleasant look on his face. Then slowly pulled out the long sword in his hand, then gently waved. Finally, I saw the black bear's palm fly out. In the passionate collision between the two, a delicious roast was ready. Mu Yunfei nibbled on it. His mouth was still provoking the Marquis Changlin. Thank you, old fellow. Do you want a bite too? The Marquis Changlin heard this and directly slapped on the Pixiu's forehead. Borrowing the inertia, he jumped up. "You can consider this as the last meal I bestowed upon you." With that said, he saw golden spiritual energy entwining his right hand. In a moment, it condensed into a fist the size of a sandbag. He blasted it directly towards Mu Yunfei. Only at this moment did Mu Yunfei realize the situation was wrong. He immediately drew his long sword, seeing that the other party wanted to fight with him. He was also not prepared to hide his clumsiness. In an instant, he swung out a stunning sword strike to resist, but just as the two blows touched, he saw that the long sword was constantly being compressed, until only a hilt of sword was left. Mu Yunfei was also bombarded into the ground by the force. A moment later, he stood up trembling. He casually threw away the long sword's hilt in his hand. Even facing such a powerful opponent, he still wasn't flustered at all. Thankfully, the roasted meat he just ate didn't come back up. Otherwise, it would have been a double loss. At this time, Marquis Chanlin also stopped attacking. Instead, he turned to look at Elder Yun beside him. He has reached the Marquis realm at such a young age, and he appeared in the mountain range. He must be Wang Feng of the Divine Immortal Sect. Unexpectedly, Elder Wang quickly shook his head in denial. "I would recognize that Wang Feng even if he turned to ashes. But he's not him." Mu Yunfei heard these words, already trembling with anger. "You almost punched me to death just now, and it was all because you mistook me for someone else." After learning the truth, thought he still had some tricks up his sleeve, but the next second he was stepped on by the Pishio. "Hey, old man, I'm really not Wang Feng. Why won't you let me go?" And Changlin Hao, who had experienced many battles, would naturally not believe it. "Although you are not Wang Feng who killed my eldest son, it is not ruled out that you are his disciple." Hearing this, he was also startled. Big beads of sweat kept dripping from his forehead. He couldn't believe that in the Yaori Empire, someone dared to kill the son of Chanling. But just as he was lost in thought, Marquis Chanlin continued to press. "Hurry up and tell the truth. Who are you and where did you come from?" Seeing that he remained silent for a long time, Marquis Chanlin continued to question. "This area is close to the Three Empires, and you refuse to reveal your background. Could it be that you are not from the Yaori Empire?" Mu Yunfei's pupils shrank upon hearing this. Seeing that he had been guessed, he confessed honestly. "This junior is actually a cultivator from the Shifeng Empire. I just happened to be here for some training." "You dared to come to the Yaori Empire for training. You have some guts. Aren't you afraid of being killed by the strong within the Empire?" Hearing these words, Mu Yunfei couldn't help but burst into laughter. What is there to fear? Since it is a trial, there must be risks. If one fears, how can one grow? However, as soon as he finished speaking, news came from the Chanlin army. They had found the base of the Immortal Sect 50 miles ahead. Mu Yunfei had thought that Marquis Chanlin would release him, but he was tied up and taken along to the Immortal Sect. With a loud bang, they arrived at the gate of the Immortal Sect. Looking at the thatched cottage before him, Mu Yunfei's face fell in disappointment. He had thought that the Immortal Sect, which dared to provoke Marquis Chanlin, what kind of reclusive master could this be? Maybe he can even help me escape this sea of misery. But it turned out to be just a dilapidated thatched hut, and at this moment, the entire Chanlin army had raised their arrows. Following the order of Marquis Chanlin, a rain of arrows whistled towards the thatched hut. At the same time, the gatekeeping demon leaped into the air. He then swiftly drew a large iron rod from the void. Standing upright atop the thatched hut, he looked at the crowd in the distance with a relaxed expression. "I was getting bored," he thought to himself, "and now a bunch of toys have come to play." With that, he swung the iron rod in the air, and in an instant a red barrier suddenly appeared before their eyes. It also blocked all the attacks without any surprise. The Chanlin army were terrified. "My God, what is that? It clearly looks like a cockroach. But how can it be so powerful?" Hearing this, the great demon was furious. "You are the cockroaches, your whole family are cockroaches." After saying that, he grabbed the iron rod and smashed it directly at the Chanlin army, along with waves of wailing. In an instant, only Marquis Chanlin was left hanging in the air. What greeted him was a huge iron rod, and the great demon's angry roar. "Who are you? How dare you provoke my immortal sect?" Marquis Chanlin looked at the iron rod overflowing with evil energy in front of him. Large beads of sweat dripped down his forehead non-stop. This is actually the Xiansha demonic rod. Could it be that you are the one who was sealed by His Majesty back then, the great Xiansha demon? Mu Yunfei on the side was also very surprised. He didn't expect that the cockroach-like man in front of him was actually the thug who ravaged the Yaori Empire in the past. If it weren't for the fact that he had been sealed by many powerful men, I'm afraid the Yaori Empire would have ceased to exist. Now he was able to escape from the ancient land of the gods. Could it be that it was also the work of the immortal Wang Feng? I didn't expect that a small thatched cottage would actually hide a peerless expert. At this time, although Marquis Chanlin was very curious as to how he escaped, but now he was here to avenge his eldest son. There was no need to fight him to the death yet, so he was about to speak and test him out. Immortal Wang Feng killed my son. As long as you don't hinder this Marquis revenge, I will act as if I have never seen you today. How about that? However, the great demon burst into laughter. What you said is all well and good. It's just that I don't know if my grinding wheel of iron rod will agree. Seeing that this couldn't end peacefully today, Marquis Chanlin no longer held back. He dashed towards the great demon with a single stride. Since that's the case, then this Marquis will first deliver you to the afterlife today, and then I will go to find that Wang Feng. But the great demon didn't panic at all. He swung his staff in reverse. You want to kill me? Just relying on the mouth? Who knew the magic staff being swung would be bitten tightly by the Pishio? Then it hurriedly spat out Samadhi true fire. The true fire quickly spread throughout the magic staff's body. But just as it was about to touch the great demon, the head of the long staff suddenly swelled up. Faced with such a behemoth, the Pishio naturally couldn't bear it and hurriedly let go of iron rod in its mouth. Seeing this, Chanlin Ho took advantage of the Pishio and leaped up. Golden armor instantly covered his hands. Raising both fists, he went straight for the great demon. The great demon, on the other hand, kicked the magic staff. The magic staff responded with a sound, and flew directly towards Chanlin Ho's face. But no one expected that under the burning of the true fire, he was not only unharmed, but his strength surged again. You are a good person, he said. Thank you for the flames you sent. You have helped me greatly. After saying that, he threw another punch. The great demon was naturally not flustered. He grabbed his magic staff and met the attack head-on. Just as the two collided, the scales attached to Marquis Changlin's body were all shattered. The terrifying aftershock sent Mu Yunfei flying hundreds of feet away. Obviously, the great demon had gained the upper hand. It seems that the answer of the Mystic Slayer cudgel is no. But at this moment, Marquis Chanlin actually laughed. Seeing this, the great devil's eyes instantly turned cold. Are you not beaten silly by the cudgel? You're about to die, yet you still laugh? I laugh because although you escaped from the God's Fall ancient land, but your cultivation base has also fallen from the peak of the Xianwang realm to the peak of the Marquis realm. These words actually amused the great devil. Even if this devil is now at the Marquis cultivation base, it is still enough to crush you. But just as the great devil spoke, he saw that the mouth of the Pishio instantly ignited with raging flames. Then it spewed directly towards Marquis Chanlin. This operation also dumbfounded the great devil. He said, "What are you guys doing? Even if you can't win, you don't have to self-suicide." As soon as he finished speaking, Marquis Chanlin was engulfed in flames. He was reborn as a god of war from the fire. You are right. My mortal body does only have the middle stage cultivation of a Marquis, but my Kirin Dharma body is far more than that. At this time, the great demon was very panicked. Big beads of sweat kept dripping from his forehead. He couldn't believe it. The original only Wang Ho middle stage of Chanlin Ho has jumped to the Xianhuang realm early stage. But just as he was lost in thought, I saw Chanlin Ho already burst toward him, looking at him who came to the top of his head in an instant. Obviously, the great demon no longer had the arrogance before. There was a trace of panic in his expression as his hooves fell the originally flat ground. In an instant, a huge ridge was stepped out. When the smoke cleared, the great demon could only rely on the Xiansha magic stick to barely support. At this moment, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This guy not only multiplied in size and strength, but even his speed has increased by several levels. And the only two seedlings left on the side, seeing the great demon being beaten with no power to fight back, they also clapped their hands and applauded, as expected of the Marquis Kirin Dharma body. I didn't expect that even the great black demon and that evil stick could be easily suppressed. This cockroach is probably not long for this world. Unexpectedly, as soon as their words fell, they saw the great demon make a splendid turn. Then he stepped hard on the magic stick. My wish is your command. Quickly grow larger. Then the magic stick answered and instantly expanded, directly sending Marquis Chanlin flying, finally standing tall on the earth. And the great demon naturally wouldn't give him a chance to breathe. He raised his magic stick and smashed it towards Marquis Changlin's face. With just one blow, the earth was smashed to pieces. The remaining waves also made the cannon fodder tremble with fear. But at this time, the great demon's face was still full of worry, because he knew that with just this blow, it would be difficult to cause substantial damage to Marquis Chanlin. The result was just as he expected. Marquis Chanlin actually appeared in front of him unharmed, and looked at him with disdain in his eyes, as if mocking his incompetence. And at this time, the great demon also appeared powerless. facing the gap in their realms. He could only choose to widen the distance first, and take the opportunity to look for openings. But Marquis Chanlin was not going to give him a chance. He curled up his body, and in a moment, transformed into a stream of light, dashing straight towards the great demon. In an instant he arrived before him. Before he could react, he was struck by a heavy elbow and sent flying. Then 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches. Each punch landed with force, smashing solidly onto his face. With the last punch, the great demon was sent flying 100 feet away. Finally, the earthen wall stopped him. At this moment, his eyes were filled with despair. This lord had finally escaped from the gods' fall ancient land. Could it be that today is the day I fall here? At the same time, Marquis Chanlin raised 2 giant stones high, preparing to turn him into a demon meat pie. The great demon exclaimed in shock. "It's over, this time I'm really going to be squashed like a cockroach." As soon as the voice fell, Marquis Chanlin directly closed the giant stones. Under this powerful impact, could it be that the great demon went blank with regret? Let's see. 2 giant stones instantly closed, accompanied by a violent explosion. Countless gravel rolled to the ground. But afterward, Marquis Chanlin didn't have the slightest joy. Instead, his eyes were filled with shock. He didn't expect that the great demon, who should have been crushed into meat paste, had miraculously disappeared. Just as he was puzzled, the great demon, suspended in the air, triumphantly cleared his throat. "Stop being stupid. You didn't expect this demon to still be alive, did you?" Chanlin Ho looked towards the sound. A hint of fear seemed to flash in his eyes. To think that your immortal sect would have such a hidden expert. And this person was none other than Yi Guqing, who had just ascended to the Xianwang realm. He stood majestically on the rooftop, Fei Hong in hand. His entire body emitted an awe-inspiring aura. With a graceful movement, he leaped into the air. The long sword instantly returned to its scabbard. At the same time, the spiritual energy binding the great demon dissipated. Witnessing this scene, Mu Yunfei, hidden behind a boulder, broke out in a cold sweat. He thought to himself, one great Xian demon wasn't enough. Now an even stronger expert has appeared. This divine immortal sect, just what kind of sacred ground is it? Why during my training in the Radiance Empire, have I never heard of this sect? As he drifted into contemplation, on the other side, Yi Guqing was praising the great demon. The sect master is very satisfied with your performance. Go ahead and rest for a while. Seeing that old Yi was seeking justice for him, the great demon hurriedly pointed at the man behind him. Look, it's this person, claims to be Marquis Chanlin. The moment he arrived, he said he wanted to save the sect master's soul. Upon hearing this, Yi Guqing's eyes instantly brimmed with killing intent, and Fei Hong was unsheathed once more. The corner of the mouth slowly uttered a sentence. Idiots talk about dreams. After saying that, a majestic aura instantly overflowed from his body, and the remaining Chanlin army immediately danced in the air. But as a veteran of many battles, Marquis Chanlin, naturally, he would not surrender without a fight. He only saw his hind hooves stomp. He shot straight towards Yi Guqing. Seeing this, Lao Yi quickly hung Fei Hong in the air. In an instant, all the Chanlin army gathered at the tip of the sword. With a burst of yelling, the flying immortal beyond heaven, man and sword, the human-shaped sword energy went straight to Marquis Changlin's face. Facing such a majestic sword move, and now he could only defend passively. After blocking the blow, he didn't dare to relax for a moment, and went straight to Yi Guqing. Then the two rose from the ground. After several moves in the air, Yi Guqing suddenly attacked again. As the yellow aura transformed into blue, the ground beneath Marquis Changlin's feet was instantly torn apart. Then he pushed the boulder into the air with his sword, leaving a huge pit in the ground. At the same time, the great devil finally noticed. Mu Yunfei was tied up tightly and securely. Seeing him bound by the enemy, he must be an ally, so he prepared to save his life. And as the rainbow struck down again, a giant stone hurtled straight towards Marquis Changlin's face. This move was the heavenly immortal Earth Sword. After enduring such a heavy blow, although Marquis Chanlin was already overwhelmed, the belief in avenging his eldest son still supported him as he struggled to his feet. But he was now nothing more than a flickering candle in the wind, about to be extinguished. How could Yi Guqing give him a chance at this moment? He was already suspended in midair, his entire body surging with the violent power of lightning. And this was his final sword strike. A sword strike powerful enough to shake the heavens. Witnessing such an awe-inspiring sword strike, Marquis Changlin's eyes were filled with terror. As Yi Guqing swung his sword down with all his might, the overwhelming sword energy mixed with the power of thunder instantly submerged him. The violent spiritual energy was tearing his body apart. But he was once a general who had made great contributions to the country. As a father, what did he do wrong? He was the awe-inspiring Marquis Chanlin. Yet his son died tragically at the hands of another. In order to avenge this blood feud, even in the face of the sword immortal Yi Guqing, he showed no fear. After withstanding his 3 peerless sword strikes, he even ushered in a second transformation. Just now, as Yi Guqing's heavenly sword descended, spiritual energy intertwined with the might of heavenly thunder instantly submerged him within. Looking at the massive blue beam of light before him, the great devil wore a smug expression. To think that the sect master actually had such a trick up his sleeve. It's only been a few days, and he's already boosted Elder Ye's strength by a significant margin. At this moment, Mu Yunfei curiously inquired, "The Elder Yi you speak of, what is his standing within the divine immortal sect?" The great devil then replied, "Elder Yi is actually among the elders, the one with the lowest strength." As soon as these words were spoken, cold sweat kept dripping from Mu Yunfei's forehead. He thought to himself, 3 swords could seriously injure Changelinhwa, who is in the early stage of the Xianhuang realm, and he's the weakest? Fortunately, the place where Changelinhwa brought me is the immortal sect. However, just as he was lost in thought, he saw Changelinhwa in the thunder curtain, suddenly raised his broken right hand, and roared loudly. Chanlin army, formed the Kirin formation. All the soldiers took their orders, so they hurriedly channeled their energy into their palms. Then they lined up in an orderly long line. Finally, they would transfer all the spiritual energy to the person in front of them one by one. Just as everything was ready, they saw Pishio leap up and arrive in front of everyone in an instant. As the spiritual energy was continuously injected, their bodies were also constantly dissipating. Perhaps this is the so-called military order is like a mountain. At this time, Pishio quickly opened its giant mouth, and a raging flame ignited in its mouth instantly. Then it shot towards Changelinhwa. After he absorbed this energy, his body was once again ignited with a raging fire. The difference from before was that the fire had turned blood red. Then he let out a roar. He swung his heavy fist and smashed it towards Lei Mu. Under this blow, Lei Mu was almost instantly blown apart. This scene shocked the great demon. He didn't expect that Marquis Chanlin still had a trick up his sleeve, and this time, his cultivation had skyrocketed again. Seeing that the situation was not good, the great demon hurriedly took out his magic stick. He then smashed it directly at the Pishio on the ground, because he knew that if he wanted to win, he had to kill it first. And on the battlefield, the iron fist thrown by Marquis Chanlin was already pressing towards Yi Guqing's face. At this moment, he did not draw his sword. Instead, he welcomed the attack with Fei Hong in his hand. After a brief stalemate, Fei Hong slowly pierced through the barrier. Unexpectedly, Marquis Chanlin grabbed the scabbard and shouted, "A mere scabbard wants to hurt me?" Little did he know, Yi Guqing had already moved behind him, and Fei Hong's sword had already pierced through his body. But to everyone's surprise, Marquis Chanlin burst into laughter. He quickly gripped Fei Hong and said, "You fell for my trap after all." As soon as the voice fell, countless flames attacked Yi Guqing in an instant. At this critical moment, a few snowflakes fell from the sky. In an instant, Yi Guqing became an ice sculpture. He dodged the attack, and the newcomer was Yao Yu. At this time, Marquis Changlin's head was buzzing, because it wasn't just Yao Yu who came. There was also Guqing's good friend Shimin Chuishue, the man I've fought all my life. I haven't even dared to hurt him. You must be out of your mind. He was once the ridiculed Waste sect leader, but now he has become a top boss with martial soul fusion skills. Even in the face of Changelinhwa, who is at the peak of Xianhuang realm, he also has that sword from beyond the sky that can kill him. And before that, with the sacrifice of the Chanlin army, Changelinhwa ushered in his second transformation, facing him whose cultivation has skyrocketed. Yi Guqing was not only beaten back repeatedly, his life was even in danger. Fortunately, Yao Yu arrived in time to rescue him. Seeing this, Changelinhwa's head buzzed, because it wasn't just Yao Yu who came. There is also Lao Ye's best friend, Shimin Chuishue. At this time, he had condensed his energy into a sword at his fingertips. Then he stabbed it straight at Changelinhwa's head. Facing this sudden sword, he hurriedly clasped his hands together. Then his body suddenly shook. The scales that had fallen off his body suddenly pierced Shimin Piakshu's body. In an instant, a raging flame engulfed him, but he found that the flames did not cause him any substantial harm. But the next second, his heart sank, because he found that the fire was burning his profound energy. Seeing this, Marquis Chanlin grinned. Then he rushed towards Shimin Piakshu. Fortunately, Yao Yu arrived just in time. After freezing him in place, she leaped up and arrived in front of Marquis Changlin's face. But unexpectedly, he noticed her, and punched her in the abdomen. Just as Yao Yu was knocked back, Marquis Chanlin hurriedly shot several scales at her. Seeing this, Shimin Piakshu reminded her, "Don't get hit by his scales. Otherwise, they will turn into flames." instantly devouring your profound energy. Hearing this, Yao Yu directly wrapped herself in ice. Shiman Piaoxue saw an opening. He immediately drew his sword and stabbed at Marquis Changlin. But this sword was blocked by his hand. You have exhausted your profound energy. You are so weak that you can't even pierce my arm, Shiman Piaoxue said while gasping for breath. Now you absolutely cannot dodge that sword. The voice just fell. Suddenly Yen Shursan appeared. Then a horizontal chop. The violent room's spiritual energy was like a ferocious beast, wantonly sweeping Changlin House's lower body, accompanied by a scream. Below his abdomen was only a pair of withered bones. Dying, he was very puzzled. This Yaori Empire. When did another Xian Emperor Realm Peak expert appear? So he hurriedly asked, "Who exactly are you?" Yen Shursan hearing this hung the long sword in front of him. "I am Yen Shursan, under the Immortal Sect." Meanwhile, Wang Feng and his party were watching the battle from the mountaintop. Fatty, who hadn't seen him for a long time, was very surprised. "I was only in seclusion for a while. How come there's another elder in the sect who's so strong?" Li Hei couldn't help but sigh. "I wonder when I will be able to reach the peak of the Xianhuang realm in this life." Only Xiaowa's face was extremely ugly. "He's the Marquis Changlin who destroyed our Ling family." Seeing this, Wang Feng patted her shoulder. "Don't worry, I know what you're thinking. I'll let you get your revenge yourself later." The great demon was very excited to see the sect master. He said that he must perform well, quickly destroy this beast in front of him, in case the sect master thinks that this demon is useless. But just as the magic wand was swung, Pixiu was sucked away by Marquis Changlin. "My old friend, today in order to avenge my son, I can only sacrifice you." After saying that, he directly killed Pixiu with a black tiger stealing heart. A moment later, countless flames ignited all over his body. When the flames dissipated, not only had his injuries healed, but his cultivation had also reached the peak of the Xian Emperor realm. "Now my Qilin Dharma body is complete. No matter how powerful your sword is, you can't even think about hurting me." But Yen Shursan was very disdainful. He then quickly unleashed his fatal 15 swords. With just one strike, he made half of Marquis Changlin's scales fall off. Who knew the system would suddenly announce, "Discovered a supremely talented demon lord." Wang Feng looked at Mu Yunfei, who was tightly bound. He thought to himself that Mu Yunfei was the only new face around, and at such a young age, he had already reached the Marquis realm. It seemed that this extraordinary genius must be him, so he hurriedly untied him, and asked, "Who are you?" Mu Yunfei immediately replied, "I am Mu Yunfei from the Divine Wind Empire. I came to the Star Mountain range for training. I never thought that Marquis Changlin would mistake me for someone from the Divine Immortal Sect, and then I was tied up here." But Wang Feng was very puzzled. "With your talent, among the younger generation of the Divine Wind Empire, probably the most peak existence, the Divine Wind Emperor didn't treat you as a treasure? This junior was just a mere good-for-nothing before, coming out to relax. I got an opportunity by chance. That's how I got to where I am today." Wang Feng's eyes flashed with golden light after hearing this. Thinking to myself, isn't this the standard protagonist template? Such a person, I have to drag him to the Divine Immortal Sect. So he grabbed his shoulder. "To have such an encounter, it proves that your luck is extraordinary. I wonder if you would like to join my Divine Immortal Sect." After joining the sect, there will be Xianhuang realm experts for one-on-one guidance, still including food and accommodation, 9 to 5. But Mu Yunfei had a worried look on his face. "If I join the Immortal Sect, I'm afraid the sect will be in constant trouble. Even so, Senior is still willing to accept me." Who would have thought that just when Wang Feng thought it was a sure thing, Fatty suddenly rushed over, his mouth still saying, "Sect Master, this is big trouble." And on the battlefield, under Marquis Changlin's fierce offensive, Yen Shursan also seemed to be a little overwhelmed. At this time, Wang Feng looked at Fatty with a resentful expression. Thinking that this fool is really as annoying as ever, he broke it all at once. The painstakingly created atmosphere for accepting a disciple, so he came up with a plan. "Are you willing to instantly advance to the spirit communication realm?" Hearing this, Fatty's mouth almost split open with a grin. He repeatedly expressed his willingness. Wang Feng quickly stepped forward and patted his shoulder. "I guarantee that today you will get your wish." Then he looked at Mu Yunfei, who was standing beside him, thinking that in order to successfully accept a disciple, it seemed that he had to do it himself after all. With that, he teleported to the front of Marquis Changlin in a flash. Looking at the enemy in front of him, the Marquis was so angry that he could not speak. "You must be Wang Feng, the one who killed my son." After saying that, he directly threw a punch at Wang Feng's face. But Wang Feng was not flustered at all. Left hand bright jade skill, right hand radiant light swordsmanship. Then he even fused the two together. Finally, he finished with a move of Yi Guqing's lunar reflection. Unexpectedly, Marquis Chanlin not only blocked this attack, but also punched Wang Feng flying away. That's it, extremely weak. Seeing this scene, Xiao Wu was very flustered. If even the sect master can't defeat Marquis Chanlin, then when will our Ling family's blood feud be avenged? Li Hei on the side was very calm. The sect master has not been defeated by Marquis Chanlin. Haven't you noticed what's missing? On the other side, Marquis Chanlin was surprised to see Wang Feng unharmed, hit by my Qilin flame fist. You are actually unharmed? Wang Feng then said. It wasn't this old man who was hit, but that fatty who fell over there. But I still have to thank you for using the power of the Xianhuang round to temper my disciple. Although the fatty has fainted at this time, he has completely awakened the body of the Xianling turtle immortal. Although she has mediocre talent, she has a master who is particularly fond of her. Not only did he let her personally avenge the extermination of her family, he also offended the Blazing Sun Emperor for her. But the reason he did all this was just to show off. And before that, the fat man, after taking a heavy punch from Marquis Chanlin, unexpectedly activated the Mystic Spirit Turtle immortal body. And Marquis Chanlin, upon seeing Wang Feng completely unharmed, became even more enraged, immediately throwing another heavy punch at him. Since you like my tempering so much, then this Marquis will put in a little more effort to temper you well. But not only was Wang Feng not panicked in the slightest, he even kindly offered a reminder. Haven't you noticed yet that you just inhaled all the sword qi that turned into ice fog into your own body? Only then did Marquis Chanlin react, but it was already too late. At this moment, Wang Feng had already condensed his qi into a sword. It flew straight toward his face. Under the relentless assault of these 15 deadly swords, the scales on Marquis Changlin's body continued to fall off. Soon he revealed his true form, barely clinging to life. But surprisingly, he did not beg for mercy. Instead, he threatened Wang Feng. If you kill me just like that, you will certainly not survive either. The lower realm will definitely avenge me. Wang Feng then shook his head. This sovereign never said I would kill you. Upon hearing this, Marquis Chanlin thought he had narrowly escaped death. Unexpectedly, Wang Feng turned to Xiao Wu, who was at the side, and said, "The rest is up to you." She was startled at first. She hadn't expected the sect master to remember what he had promised her. Without any hesitation, she walked straight towards the powerless Marquis Chanlin. After seeing the newcomer's appearance, he was shocked. He didn't expect that there were still survivors from the Ling family. Meanwhile, Xiao Wu raised the wooden sword with a twisted face. If I die, how can I kill Lin Yun and avenge the Ling family? At this moment, Marquis Chanlin suddenly understood. It turned out that it was not Wang Feng who killed his son, but this survivor of the Ling family before him. However, to everyone's surprise, he started laughing maniacally, while still shouting incessantly, "It's great, it's really great." This unbelievable operation also made Wang Feng puzzled. I thought to myself, is this guy crazy? Knowing that it was Xiao Wu who killed his son, how can you still laugh so happily? But Marquis Changlin's next words were astonishing. No matter how miserably my father and son die, you will only be tens of thousands of times more miserable than us in the future. Kill me. The immortal sect may still have a glimmer of hope, but if you dare to accept Ling Fei Wu, the entire sect will surely be destroyed in the future. As soon as these words came out, Wang Feng's expression immediately became solemn. As I expected, the Ling family's destruction hides another secret. But right now, it's absolutely impossible to extract the truth from Marquis Changlin's mouth. The great demon seemed to have fought against the Radiant Sun Great Emperor before. Maybe he knows some inside information. It appears they'll need to seek him out and ask him about it later. And after hearing these words, Xiao Wu, her hand holding the wooden sword, trembled unceasingly. Only after a long while did she manage to ask Wang Feng, "Can I really kill him and avenge my family?" However, to her surprise, Wang Feng held her trembling hand steady and said, "Do you remember what I told you before? My immortal sect fears no one. Even if the enemy reaches the heavens, as long as there is blood feud, he must be killed to appease my anger." After saying this, he helped Xiao Wu up again, who had been kneeling. At this, she burst into tears. "Father, if you are aware in the afterlife, you can finally rest in peace." With that, she directly pierced the chest of Marquis Chanlin. Afterwards, the great demon hurriedly reminded him, "Sect Master, now that Marquis Chanlin is dead, I'm afraid the Sun Emperor will not let this go easily." However, Wang Feng didn't care at all after hearing this. "Great demon, your vision is still too narrow. You have to know that the bigger the waves, the more expensive the fish. Otherwise, when will our divine immortal sect ever become truly famous?" After saying this, he revealed a cunning glint in his eyes. He thought to himself, when it comes to putting on a show, who else can compare to me? Meanwhile, a pair of eager small hands stretched out, dragging a money bag. Disciple Mu Yunfei earnestly requests to join the immortal sect. This scene made Wang Feng feel very awkward. How did you know about the sect's rules for accepting disciples? Mu Yunfei pointed to Li He behind him. This disciple sought advice from senior brother earlier. Wang Feng immediately took the money bag, thinking to himself, this is great. It saves me the effort of having to persuade him. At the same time, the system also sent a notification. Congratulations to the host for recruiting a peerless prodigy, rewarding 50,000 sect value points, and 1 random summon opportunity. Looking at the rewards before him, Wang Feng was also taken aback. Good guy, did I just find a treasure? I didn't expect the sect value Mu Yunfei brought to be even more than Li He, the reincarnation of the Xian Emperor. So who will Wang Feng summon this time? Anyone who's ever had a girlfriend knows, the prettier they are, the worse their temper. This holds true even in the Xuanhuan world. Just because the old man confessed his love to her, she froze him into an ice sculpture for all eternity. Now, she even took Fatty, the troublemaker, as her disciple. One can only imagine how strong his defense will become in the future. Under Yao Yu's relentless beatings, at this moment, inside the Divine Immortal Sect's main hall, Wang Feng was informed of the destruction of the Xiaowu family. He summoned the great demon early in the morning, before you were sealed. Have you ever heard of the Ling family where Ling Feiwu belongs? Hearing the 2 words Ling family, De Guan was very shocked. It is said that the Ling family of Yaofeng City may not be considered top-notch in the Yaori Empire, but it is an ancient family with a history of nearly 5,000 years. The strange thing is, the Ling family has been unable to develop. Later I heard that it was because of a treasure they inherited. Only true-blooded disciples of the Ling family can fully activate it, and once that treasure is activated, the Ling family will be completely transformed, easily become the world's top family. Hearing this, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel a little ashamed, thinking to himself, what kind of heaven-defying luck is this? Any disciple he casually accepts is a person of great destiny. At this time, the great demon continued to deduce, although this is just a legend, but the Ling family was inexplicably destroyed. It's probably related to this, and Wang Feng agreed with his point of view. After all, having a treasure but not being able to protect it is an eternal truth. So he silently made a decision. Since Xiao Wu is a member of my Divine Immortal Sect, then our sect will naturally seek justice for her. Marquis Chanlin and the others are just the beginning. Anyone who participated in the destruction of the Ling family, I will not let any of them off. Upon hearing this, Big Demon's ability to flatter and fawn was immediately and fully displayed. Exalted One, you are mighty, you are my idol, not just for Ling Feiwu, to be able to hug the big, thick leg of the Divine Immortal Sect. It is also this demon's greatest fortune in this life. Afterwards, Wang Feng instructed, don't tell little Wu about this for now, and let her cultivate diligently. When she is able to hold her own, this sect will definitely let her personally avenge this grudge. Oh right, go and summon everyone in the sect. I have something important to announce. After the great demon leaves, Wang Feng hurriedly summoned the system, and asked it to show him the messages he didn't have time to read before, to show them all now, according to the system prompt. After killing Marquis Chanlin, congratulations, although he gained a random summoning opportunity, as well as 30,000 sect points. But at the same time, he made an enemy of Emperor Yaori, and activated the hostile mission, slightly delayed understanding. This also made Wang Feng confused. Then after his inquiry he learned, it turns out that once a hostile mission is activated, it will automatically judge the Yaori Empire as a hostile force, as long as there is an enemy task appearing. Once completed you can get rich rewards. Join the first task led by Yao. Participate with fellow disciples led by Yao. Participate in the Demon Sealing Conference hosted by the Yao Sun Empire, and win first place in the Grand Demon Sealing Conference. And it must be a disciple of the sect who takes the top spot. Furthermore, after winning first place in the conference, you need to openly challenge the Yao Sun Emperor. Upon completion, you will receive 5 random summons, and unlock the sect mission hall. In addition, during the Demon Sealing Conference, as long as you kill disciples from other sects, or poach them to the Immortal Sect, not only can you obtain a certain amount of sect value, can also plunder the luck of those killed. Wang Feng couldn't help but curse inwardly. This wretched system really likes to stir up trouble, to actually provoke the Sun Emperor to his face. It's simply a toad jumping into a wok. But this matter of poaching people, it's something that's after my own heart. But now until the Sealing Demon Conference, there are only a dozen or so days left, with their current cultivation level, to win first place in the Sealing Demon Conference. I'm afraid it's a bit difficult for them. However, the reason for gathering everyone this time is to improve the cultivation of these disciples. Soon everyone had arrived to report, and Wang Feng also revealed the purpose of this trip. 10 days later, our sect will lead the disciples to participate in the Sealing Demon Conference. In order to enhance the strength of the disciples, the 3 of you elders, from Li Qing, Li He and Mu Yunfei, each choose one to be your disciple. As soon as this was said, the happiest one was the fatty. Thinking that the sect master didn't lie to me, he said that Xian Huang would give one-on-one guidance. It's really true. My dear mother in the distance, your genius son is about to take off. Then 11 when Piaxue chose Mu Yunfei. Surprisingly, the always icy Yao Yu actually chose Fatty, this meticulous fellow. And Fatty also demonstrated what it meant to have one's smile vanish, because he had heard from Demo that Elder Yao Yu had always been a woman of action, not words. He himself had just been punched by Marquis Changlin and almost kicked the bucket, and now he would be controlled by a tigress. Oh my dear mother, my son's heart is bitter. But when it came to Li He, Yan Shan shook his head repeatedly. This also made him quite depressed. He thought to himself, I am a dignified Xian Emperor Realm expert reincarnated. Why would I need guidance from a Xian Royal Realm expert? Seeing that both of them were quite arrogant, Wang Feng also felt troubled. It is true that a large team is difficult to lead, especially these elders. Each and every one of them is arrogant and proud. The key is that this Li He is also a troublemaker. If Xiaorao can't find him a master this time, I'm afraid he will look down on us. In that case, then this sect will awaken another elder. He is a boastful sect leader, but many top bosses are willing to be his. Even the cold and frosty most beautiful woman in the world obeys him. It turns out that he has a heaven-defying system. As long as he keeps accepting apprentices, he can summon powerful people from all over the world. Now he has welcomed his second beauty. She captivated everyone's hearts upon first sight, and she was the demonic empress, Zhu Yuyan. Right after the system triggered the hostile mission, Wang Feng summoned everyone in the sect, preparing to assign mentors to his disciples, to properly enhance their strength, in order to face the upcoming demon sealing assembly. But when it came to Li He, Yan Shan was unwilling to turn around for him. Wang Feng was also quite troubled by this. In order to avoid being looked down upon by the reincarnated Xian Emperor, he had no choice but to use his newly acquired summoning opportunity. A moment later, accompanied by a burst of clear ringing, Mu Yunfei's expression gradually grew panicked, deeply afraid that the sect would be attacked again. But the next second, he saw a red-haired woman holding him. The feeling of being held from behind made him blush instantly. Wang Feng watched as everyone gradually lost themselves, and the woman in front of him had a cynical look on her face. Only then did he suddenly realize. It turned out that the one summoned this time was her, Zhu Yuyan, the Yin Empress, who possessed the middle stage of the Xian Emperor realm, and her profound skills were also very outrageous. Just the heavenly demon sound in the heavenly demon great law made everyone lose their minds, not to mention the jade stone giant burning move. As expected, the more beautiful a woman is, the more dangerous she is. Even Li He, who had experienced great storms in his previous life, they couldn't escape. And just as he sighed with emotion, Zhu Yuyan had already arrived in front of Wang Feng, and she bowed politely. Then Wang Feng also quickly introduced her. This is Elder Zhu Yuyan, who has just woken up. Everyone cupped their hands in greeting. She looked at these enthusiastic little guys, so she prepared to give them a meeting gift. Then, with a smile on her face, she shook the bell on her wrist. The disciples were once again lost in a trance. Yao Yu, who was standing aside, couldn't sit still any longer. She let out a cold snort, and a chill instantly spread around her. This instantly brought them back to their senses. Then Wang Feng arranged. Li He will follow Elder Zhu from now on, and 10 days later this sect will take you all to participate in the Sealing Demon Conference. I hope that during this period, everyone should follow their respective mentors and cultivate well. After returning to the main hall, Wang Feng hurriedly summoned the system. Looking at the huge sum of 100,000 sect value that was clearly displayed, he didn't hesitate to choose a 10 draw. Accompanied by a prompt from the system, countless rewards appeared. Then he immediately blessed himself with a heavenly demon great law. Then he asked again whether he could use the cultivation base he had drawn to raise his realm to the Xuanzun realm. The system, however, informed him, unless the host summons an expert at the Xuanzun realm and extracts his cultivation base, otherwise it cannot be improved. Wang Feng was also quite helpless about this. After all, Xuanzun had already initially touched upon the profoundness of laws. It's better to make plans later. Soon, 10 days had passed. Wang Feng called everyone over early in the morning, looking at everyone who was high-spirited, although he felt that there had been some improvement in their realms. But it was still a bit short of his expectations. As soon as he said this, The bruised and battered fatty repeatedly begged for mercy. "Sect Master, please have mercy on me. If I keep practicing, I will be beaten to death by Elder Yaoyu." But Wang Feng was confident, because he could take the cultivation he had extracted before, and bless all these beloved disciples with it. Then, under his bluffing long-distance empowerment, everyone's cultivation has made a qualitative leap. Fatty has reached the early stage of human appearance. Xiao Wu reached the peak of appearance. Li Hei reached the early stage of king. And Mu Yunfei even reached the peak of the king realm. The newcomer hurriedly cupped his hands in thanks. Unexpectedly, the sect master had such a magical skill. Unexpectedly, Fatty immediately put on an act. It's really rare and strange. Patriarch had previously raised Elder Ye's cultivation level, from the peak of the King Ho realm to the early stage of the Xian Emperor realm. Wang Feng, who was not surprised, asked the great demon beside him, "Where is the flying tool I asked you to prepare before?" And the great demon naturally would not miss this opportunity to show off. "Wouldn't you trust this demon to do things? The Patriarch will definitely feel at home." After saying that, he saw a huge flying boat appeared in front of everyone. At this time, he did not forget to brag. "This cost me all my brain cells. It was carefully designed in the style of the immortal god Sect. It definitely fits your low-key taste, Patriarch." Wang Feng looked at the thatched hut on the flying boat, which was restored one by one. In his heart, a group of unknown creatures were running. "Now it's done, really wherever I go. I can't get rid of this thatched cottage. Forget it, make do with it." Then he arranged Yao Yu and Yan Shi-san to guard the sect. The others went to the Ceiling Demon Conference together. He was also full of confidence in this. "My immortal sect, if it does not act, it will not act. But when it acts, it will shock the world." As the flying boat shot out, a new chapter was about to begin. Although she had extraordinary cultivation and appearance, she still couldn't escape the shackles of the world. The sect even regarded her as a tool for profit, just because she was beautiful and had no background. Maybe it's the same in every world, so long as it's an ordinary person will suffer invisible oppression. And just now, Wang Feng's group was riding a domineering flying boat, preparing to go to the Yaori Empire to participate in the Ceiling Demon Conference. At the same time, outside the ancient land of the fallen god, numerous cultivators had already gathered within Divine Arrival City. After everyone arrived in the city, they all went to the only place to stay here, Qinyan Tower. And everyone in the tower was discussing Yu, the top geniuses who came to participate in this conference. Some were bragging about Yi Feng of the Flying Feather Sect. It was rumored that he had cultivated the Flying Feather Cloud Dragon to the 9th level. Although his cultivation had not yet reached the King Ho realm, his true battle strength was terrifying. But some people thought that Li Tianxin, the Fairy of the Heaven's Heart Sect, that is the biggest highlight of this Demon Ceiling Conference. Not only does she possess the strength to rival a king, but her figure is also quite impressive. And just as everyone was chatting and laughing, they saw above the pavilion, two mysterious women walked into a private room. After removing the white robes draped over them, a petite and exquisite appearance was revealed, and she was Li Tianxin of the Tianxin Sect. A moment later, her master slowly spoke. "Shiner, the Crown Prince of the Empire will also be attending this conference. You must stay by his side at all times. Do not neglect him." Li Tianxin was both shocked and disappointed after hearing this, so she weakly asked a question. "Is this master's intention, or the sect master's intention?" But she only indifferently replied, "This is the intention of the entire Tianxin sect." As soon as these words came out, it shattered Li Tianxin's expectations for the sect. Then she slowly closed her beautiful eyes and said, "To think that the dignified top sect of the Yaori Empire would also need its female disciples to take the initiative to curry favor with the Crown Prince." But after her master finished listening, she issued a soul-searching question. "As a disciple of the Tianxin sect, you have been carefully cultivated by the sect since childhood. Shouldn't one dedicate themselves to their sect?" But at this moment, a sudden, tremendous sound came from outside the window. When she saw the flying boat drifting not far away, she couldn't help but complain repeatedly. There are all kinds of strange things in a big forest. There is actually a sect using a thatched cottage as a flying artifact, and they dare to call themselves immortals with such a thing. It's like a frog jumping into a boiling oil pot seeking death. Wang Feng, who had just arrived, decided to let Zhu Yuyan go down with him to investigate the situation first. The other disciples and elders remained on board. As soon as the two of them stepped into the Qinyan Tower, Zhu Yuyan's impressive figure immediately became the center of attention. How could there be such a stunning beauty in this world? Unraveling, even just one glance, would make people feel ashamed of themselves. At this time, only a waiter slowly walked over. "Welcome, both of you, to to Qinyan Pavilion. May I ask what you need? Wang Feng couldn't help but sigh after seeing his cultivation level. This inn is really not simple. Even a waiter has the cultivation level of the spirit communication realm. Then he stated his purpose. Would like a room. Unexpectedly, the waiter informed them that it would be 1,000 lower-grade profound stones per room. Hearing these words, Wang Feng was so shocked that he almost choked on his words. He thought to himself, one room actually costs so many profound stones. Could this be a black shop? My whole body added up is only a few hundred profound stones, and it was given by Mu Yunfei. Never expected, as the sect master of a dignified immortal sect. Now I can't even afford a room. But the next second he suddenly thought he should be very rich, so he quickly called out the system, and asked about the whereabouts of the wealth of Lin Yuni, Marquis Chanlin and others after they were killed. The system took him to the storage space. Looking at the mountains of treasures and profound stones, Wang Feng was both shocked and excited. Sure enough, no matter where, murdering and robbing goods is the way to get rich. Then he was just about to ask shower for a few guest rooms, but unexpectedly, someone interrupted him. Beauty, I can open a room for you. After seeing the appearance of the person who came, the people around were all blown up. This turned out to be Xiao Changfeng, the young master of the Sifeng Palace. It is said that although this man is looking for fun all day long, but the cultivation has not fallen behind at all. It's over, this one has appeared. I'm afraid the beauty will not escape the clutches of the devil. At this time, he had come to Zhu Yuan, and looked at her with a demented face. When Wang Feng saw this, he said, could it be that this brother, willing to pay 7,000 low-grade profound stones for us? Who would have thought Xiao Changfeng would immediately turn his head in anger? You're worthy? Besides beauties, no one can make me willingly help. Wang Feng burst into laughter after hearing this. This sovereign thought I had encountered a fool. I didn't expect to meet a pauper. Xiao Changfeng was naturally not a pushover. He pointed at Wang Feng and threatened him. If you dare to step out of the Qinyan Pavilion today, I guarantee that you will die without a burial place. Wang Feng was very disdainful. So you're saying, you don't dare to make a move in this Qinyan Pavilion? This speech also surprised everyone present. This guy didn't come from some corner, did he? You know, Qinyan Pavilion is spread all over the 3 empires. Its power is unfathomable. Who dares to do it in the cabinet right now? Xiao Changfeng also echoed. What a jumping clown. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was slapped away by Wang Feng. It was not until the wall collapsed that it stopped. You don't dare, but it doesn't mean that this sect doesn't dare. This ridiculous operation. It also surprised everyone. After a while, Xiao Changfeng struggled to get up. He was still yelling, how dare you do this to me at Qinyan Pavilion? And Wang Feng pushed his head back into the ground. Do you need to pick a place to hit someone? Of course, I hit whenever I want. Not only does she possess a peerless beauty, but her cultivation is also top-notch. Now, not only has she been publicly humiliated by a man, but her capable subordinate has also had his arm crippled. Yet she could only swallow the bitter pill in silence. Who made her encounter Wang Feng? This cunning fox. And before that, Wang Feng and his group had just stepped into the Qinyan Pavilion, when they encountered a clueless young master of the Sifeng Hall. Not only did he want to take Zhu Yuan as his concubine, but he also dared to threaten Wang Feng publicly, relying on the rules of this place. But Wang Feng didn't care about any of that. Directly let him and the earth marry on the spot. But at this moment, a strange figure came speeding over. Seeing the newcomer's skin so snow-white, Wang Feng was also startled and quickly retreated to the side. At this time, a childlike aura emanated from the man's body. He scowled with a twisted face. How dare you touch the young palace master of our Sifeng Hall? Today you are dead for sure. After saying that, he walked straight towards Wang Feng. The onlookers were also startled into a cold sweat. This was Elder Gui Xiong of the Sifeng Hall. He was a strong expert at the Xianwang realm. It seems that this disturbance is destined to not end well. Previously, the huge commotion also attracted Li Tianxin and her master. The woman looked at Wang Feng's frivolous behavior. In her heart, she thought he was just a jumping clown. Now that Elder Gui Xiong is out, he will surely die. But Li Tianxin, who was at the side, was different. She felt that this person dared to do something in Qinyan Pavilion. There must be someone backing him up. And on Wang Feng's side, he actually raised his index finger at Gui Xiong and gestured very provocatively. He had already spoken harshly. Why didn't he dare to make a move now? Meanwhile, a jade foot slowly descended the stairs. Your Excellency, surely you are aware of the rules of my Qinyan Pavilion. After seeing the newcomer clearly, Ghost Hero hurriedly stepped forward and bowed respectfully. Ghost Hero of the Four Directions Palace greets Elder Bamboo Qin. As soon as these words were spoken, The surroundings instantly became noisy. Oh my god, I didn't expect. Even the head of the Qin Rhyme Pavilion was alarmed. You must know that she is also a master of the profound emperor realm. This kid's end is probably miserable. But to see two peerless beauties in a row, it's really worthwhile to make this trip. And after Wang Feng saw such a beautiful woman, he even immediately winked at her. One glance could overthrow a city. A second glance could overthrow a nation. This patriarch is fortunate to meet you today. I wonder if you would be willing to have a chat in my room. I will personally apologize to you. Looking at Wang Feng, who was so daring, the onlookers were instantly dumbfounded. Holy crap, this kid must be crazy. Not only did he not kneel down and beg for mercy, he even dared to tease Elder Zhu Qin. He's really like a hungry dog going to the bathroom reckless. Even Gui Xiong, who was standing by the side, almost burst out laughing. At this moment, Zhu Qin opened her beautiful eyes and said, "You have a lot of guts." Unexpectedly, Wang Feng still smiled playfully and replied, "It's not that big a deal. It's just a little big." But the next second, Zhu Qin's eyes suddenly opened, filled with killing intent. "You dared to make a move in my Qin Yun Pavilion. You've broken the rules of this place. I wonder how you plan to end this." Wang Feng looked at the extremely resentful pavilion master. First, he apologized with a sincere face. This sovereign had no intention of offending Qin Yun Pavilion. But if someone offends me, I will offend them back, no matter where. Anyone who dares to offend this sovereign must die. Now that kid is not dead, it is already because this sovereign is giving face to Qin Yun Pavilion. Show mercy. Who would have thought that as soon as the words were spoken, the ghost hero would rush towards Wang Feng like crazy. "Stinky boy, you not only dare to speak nonsense in the Qin Yun Pavilion, but you also want to kill the young master of my Sifeng Hall. Today I will take your dog life." But at this moment, a green silk ribbon stood in front of Wang Feng. In a short while, Zhu Yuyan had arrived, and she tightly wrapped the ghost hero's arm with the silk ribbon. Just the wafting scent was enough to make him instantly lose his mind. At this time, Zhu Yuyan grinned. As the saying goes, it is better to have less trouble than more trouble. It is better to have one less arm than one more arm. Elder Ghost Hero, you ask if this makes sense? At this moment, the ghost bear's tragic roar echoed throughout the entire attic. Having witnessed such a shocking scene, the surrounding crowd cried out in surprise. "Oh my god, this kid really has a backup plan." This woman just used a silk ribbon to easily sever the arm of a Xian Emperor realm expert. I'm afraid that within the three great empires, she is already a top existence. On the attic, Li Taingshan's eyes lit up. She thought to herself that this person might be able to help me escape from this sea of misery. Beside her, Zhu Qin saw this scene. Beads of sweat dripped from her forehead non-stop. Xiao Changfeng was even more terrified. "If this person wants to kill me, I'm afraid that even Elder Zhu Qin might not be able to protect you." Wang Feng, however, appeared completely indifferent. This sect doesn't go looking for trouble. But that doesn't mean this sect is afraid of trouble. If you insist on making an enemy of this sect for the sake of so-called rules, then I will tear down this Qin Rhyme Pavilion today. Seeing such an overbearing man before them, everyone around couldn't help but be ashamed. This person is too arrogant. You know, even the emperors of the three great empires wouldn't dare to say such a thing. Compared to others, Zhu Qin seemed extremely calm, thinking that this person's strength really made me tremble. But the Qin Rhyme Pavilion is not the only place where I am a sovereign. And when Wang Feng saw her fearless appearance, he once again reminded her, "If you don't believe me, you can try it." A weak man dared to provoke the top forces of the empire in public. Not only did nothing happen to him, but the other side also gave him a platinum VIP card. It turned out that he sensed a hint of danger from Zhu Yuyan, so he let the matter go. And before that, Wang Feng looked at Zhu Qin's fearless appearance. He kindly reminded her again, "If you insist on pursuing this matter, I just don't know if this cause and effect is something you can bear." Hearing these words, even the ever-composed Zhu Qin felt a sudden surge of fear in her heart. She thought to herself, "This man is shrouded in mystery, and the woman by his side possesses immense power. I fear even I am no match for her. If Qiao Aryuo truly finds herself in a stalemate, it is our Qin Yun Pavilion that will undoubtedly suffer the consequences. Were it not for this good-for-nothing playboy, how could Qin Yun Pavilion have been placed in such a precarious position?" Just as she found herself at her wit's end, an old man slowly approached. To her astonishment, he picked up Zhu Yuyan's silk ribbon and began to savor its scent and texture. But in the next instant, his expression turned vacant, his brows furrowed in deep thought. He originally smelled the scent of a strong person, and when he appeared in everyone's sight, there was an instant uproar all around. "Oh my god!" Even Vice Pavilion Master Elder Qin Xing was alarmed. You know, even the imperial family of the empire must give him some face. It seems that the kid named Wang Feng is going to be miserable. Zhu Qin wanted to explain as soon as he saw him arrive, but Qin Sheng interrupted him. Then he went straight to Wang Feng. Your Excellency took action in this incident for a reason. My Qin Yun Pavilion will make an exception for you. You also punished Xiao Chang Feng before. Elder Gui Xiong also lost his arm because of this. How about we just let this go? Wang Feng looked at the white-haired old man in front of him. He couldn't help but sigh. He didn't expect that in this small rhythm pavilion there was actually a great master at the peak of the Xian Emperor realm. It was truly a powerful force that even the three great empires were extremely wary of. At this moment, Wang Feng didn't want to make an enemy of him, so he readily agreed to the old man's request. Unexpectedly, after laughing heartily, he actually took out an exquisite card in front of everyone, and announced that all expenses incurred by the distinguished guest at Rhythm Pavilion this time would be completely waived. Moreover, the distinguished guest would become a distinguished guest of Rhythm Pavilion, and enjoy privileges at any branch within the empire's borders. Everyone can enjoy a 20% discount. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding crowd gasped in astonishment. They never expected that this person would break the rules of this place. Not only did Elder Qin Sheng not pursue the matter, he even gave out a platinum VIP card. I'm afraid that the entire Yaori Empire can count on one hand the number of people who have it. At this time, Wang Feng smoothly took the card. In that case, then thank you very much. Then Qin Sheng respectfully extended his left hand, inviting Wang Feng upstairs. Unexpectedly, he closed his eyes and mouth. He uttered a harsh word to Xiao Chang Feng. I hope you don't step out of this Qin Yun Pavilion. Otherwise, you are dead. So he condensed a wisp of sword chi on his two fingers. Then with a wave of his hand, he pointed directly at the ghost hero's broken arm. The ghost hero looked at his severed arm. It was being blasted to pieces right before his eyes. The anger in his heart could no longer be suppressed. He hurriedly glared fiercely at Wang Feng. But before he could speak, Wang Feng and Zhu Yiyan struck again. In an instant, his neck was tightly wrapped by the silk ribbon, while Qin Sheng, who was at the side, very tactfully pointed at the ceiling. Zhu Qin, look at the roof. It seems like there's an extra spider web. After this matter was over, Wang Feng instructed Zhu Yiyan, who was beside him. He asked her to call everyone else down, then went with Qin Sheng on the attic. Xiao Chang Feng, after seeing them go, then hurriedly came to the front of Gui Xiong to inquire, what should we do now? Gui Xiong endured the intense pain and said, you should have the Palace Master's sound transmission talisman on you, right? Hearing this, Xiao Chang Feng hurriedly took it out from his trousers. My father, before I left, gave me a sound transmission talisman. That's good. Contact the Palace Master immediately. Have him lead the experts of the Four Directions Palace to come. Make sure to kill this person in this divine proximate city. Otherwise, both you and I will die. After Xiao Chang Feng listened, he didn't dare to have the slightest delay. Quickly tossed the token to a subordinate nearby, and told him to contact the Palace Master immediately. But after finishing this matter, he ran to the ghost hero and asked, so, what should we do next? And the ghost hero simply replied with one word, wait. Unexpectedly, he weakly asked another question. So, we're not going to participate in the demon sealing assembly? Looking at such a wise young master in front of him, the ghost hero was so angry that he repeatedly roared, if you want to die, then go ahead and participate. After saying that, he endured the intense pain and walked out of the house, leaving Xiao Chang Feng standing there dumbfounded. He originally wanted to go back to his own room, but then he thought of Wang Feng's ruthless methods. He couldn't help but swallow. Then he immediately ran out the door with a dejected look. The onlookers couldn't help but sigh. They didn't expect that the young master of the top sect in the glorious Sun Empire, an expert at the Xianwang realm, would one day be reduced to such a state. The woman only moaned towards the sky. As a result, a 3-year-old girl was born. Although she looked extremely cute, her cultivation was actually off the charts. With just one glance, she saw through Wang Feng's true bone age, and his hidden peak cultivation at the Xianwang realm. Little did they know, the girl was Li Taixin's true master. After Wang Feng and the others were invited to the attic, Qin Sheng even broke the rules and brought them to the 5th floor. It is said that only the top experts of the great sects are qualified to step into it. When everyone saw him arrive, they all stepped forward and bowed respectfully with their fists clasped. But when it came to Wang Feng, they all remained silent and disdainful. Fortunately, Qin Sheng quickly came to his rescue. Everyone, this fellow Taoist is Wang Feng, the sect master Wang of the Divine Immortal Sect. And Wang Feng also hurriedly bowed to the crowd. At this time, a hint of a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Sure enough, no matter which world it is, it's the same. As long as you properly intimidate them, you can achieve unexpected results. Otherwise, it would not have been possible to receive such courtesy. And after Qin Sheng's introduction, everyone's expression changed immediately. They turned their heads and started to flatter Wang Feng. Sect leader Wang is truly a leader of the younger generation. To become the leader of a sect at such a young age, it's truly enviable. Some even expressed their desire to pay a visit, but Wang Feng saw through their little thoughts. Although he spoke lightly on the surface. In fact, they really wanted to explore the details of the divine immortal sect, but they still underestimated him too much. The ability of the Sea King from the 26th century to talk nonsense. Wang Feng then waved his hand and began to perform. To be honest, my Jade Emperor sect is an ancient and reclusive grand sect. It has only recently been revived. It is all because my sect's 5th generation leader, the Grand Ancestor, he relied on his heaven-defying cultivation to fight against the heavens. After an arduous battle that lasted for 82 days, he ended up losing by half a move. He was then cursed by the heavens. My sect had no choice but to go into hiding, in order to escape the curse of the heavens. Fortunately, the 9th generation leader, the great sage equaling heaven, rose to prominence. He single-handedly challenged the heavenly Tao, and finally, at the cost of his own life, he broke the curse of the heavens, allowing my Jade Emperor sect to see the light of day once more. And before his death, he then passed the position of sect master to me. This is also the first time our sect has entered the world. I hope all my fellow Taoists will give me more guidance. Who knew that under his extremely realistic acting skills, the surrounding people were dumbfounded. The 4 characters of Hidden World sect kept circling in their minds. Wang Feng looked at them for a long time without speaking. He couldn't help but feel proud in his heart. In my past life, I was known as the #1 liar in Saishu village. If I don't fool you guys today, I feel sorry for my title. However, what he didn't expect was that the disciples also believed his lies. Xiao Wu and Fatty stayed where they were. Beams of sweat dripped from their foreheads. The great devil thought with such a powerful sect as its backer. What else is there to be afraid of? Even the Radiant Sun Great Emperor, even Li He, the reincarnation of the Do Emperor, was ashamed of himself. He fought against the heavens and only lost half a move. How terrifying this is. No wonder there are always inexplicable strong people reviving in the sect. Qin Sheng, who had regained his senses, hurried to Wang Feng, apologizing again for the previous disrespect. Then after a burst of mutual flattery, Xu Qin quietly came to Qin Sheng and asked in a low voice, "How credible do you think the words of sect master Wang are?" He looked at Wang Feng meaningfully. "I think we will know soon enough. The 4 directions dice is not so easy to mess with. Can block, 5 points credible. If it can't block, that's just a jumping clown." After listening to these words, Xu Qin seemed to be looking forward to it more and more. She really wanted to know that Wang Feng who made her hurt. Is it as terrifying as he said? In the other room, Li Tianxin's master was very angry. She didn't believe that anyone could fight against the heaven. What a clown who jumped out of nowhere. I want to see in the face of the wrath of the Sifeng Hall, your so-called ancient hidden sect, how to resist. After saying that, she pushed the door open and went out. The young master who said he was going to visit the Sifeng Hall. After he left, Li Tianxin looked down at her chest. "Master, you can come out now." A moment later, a wisp of blood-colored spiritual energy surged from her chest. In an instant, a girl walked out from it. "That master of yours that everyone knows. She really is a brainless bimbo." Hearing this, Li Tianxin quickly asked, "Do you think what sect master Wang said is true?" The girl wasn't 100% sure, but she felt that it was very likely, because she had observed Wang Feng up close before, though he's masked by a mysterious power. In that instant, your master saw through to his true cultivation, peak Xianwang realm. Li Tianxin was a little surprised to hear this, but considering he comes from that ancient, secluded grand sect, she supposed it wasn't entirely unusual. However, her disciple's next words drained the color from her face. "What if I told you he's only in his early 20s? Just now, not only did I sense his cultivation, but I also paid special attention to his bone age. It's precisely because of this that I believe what sect master Wang said is likely true." Li Tianxin covered her small mouth in surprise after hearing this. 20 years old, and already reached the peak of Xianwang. I'm afraid that even if you look at the entire 3 empires, there is no such monster. He clearly has no cultivation, but he single-handedly created a hidden great sect. Now just a look not only scared the current bigwigs to tremble, even the beloved of the current prince chose him without hesitation. It turns out that he awakened a strongest sect system. As long as you keep accepting disciples, you can summon disciples of powerful sects from all over the world. The outrageous thing is, it can even start with the original god. and all the cultivation bases drawn can be added to oneself. Even if it's the top genius, in his early 20s, it's just the beginning, but he's far ahead, reached the terrifying peak of Xianwang. Now it's stuck in the bug of the Sealing Demon Conference. He entered the ancient land of God's fall with his beloved disciples, and before that, after a very explosive performance by Wang Feng, he tricked many strong men into becoming 3-year-old children. 3 days later, the Sealing Demon Conference was held as scheduled. The square was crowded with various forces early in the morning, but what puzzled Wang Feng was, why is the podium still empty? Later, after asking Elder Qin Xing beside him, he learned. It turned out that the host of this conference was General Chen Lai. He is known as the god of war of the empire. Not only does he command the entire empire's army, his cultivation has also reached the peak of the Xianwang realm. Hearing this, Wang Feng's heart skipped a beat. It seems that old man Yari really attaches great importance to the demon sealing assembly. Just for a host, he actually sent out such a strong person. But the great demon at the side let out a pig-like laugh. That old man is really afraid of me breaking the seal. He is truly terrified. A moment later, the originally clear sky was instantly covered by a shadow. Everyone quickly raised their heads to look. A domineering airship came to a sudden stop above the plaza. The arrivals were none other than Chen Lai and the crown prince of the Yaori Empire, Mei Chuan Kuzi. The two of them then proceeded to the stage. Upon seeing this, everyone present respectfully bowed to them. Only Wang Feng sighed to himself from the side. All the top geniuses he had seen in the past few days were only mortals who had reached the middle stage of the King Ho realm. He had not expected that this Mei Chuan Kuzi would have already reached the late stage of the King Ho realm. But just at this moment, a loud noise interrupted him. It turned out that Chen Lai was announcing the rules of in this year's Demon Sealing Conference. All restrictions would be lifted. Whoever killed the most demonic beasts within 3 days would be victorious. When these words came out, the audience instantly exploded. Everyone's faces also began to cloud over, because if there were no rules, then this competition would probably be a bloodbath. Some people might even deliberately hunt down young prodigies. It was simply terrifying. Soon a huge box was carried to the front of the stage. It contained the demon sealing orders. As long as one killed the demon in the Godfall ancient land, it would automatically absorb demonic energy and convert it into points. The higher the demon's cultivation, the higher the points. The one with the most points in the end would be the winner of the demon sealing assembly. At this time, someone asked, if the token is taken, what then? Chen Lai finished, his eyes full of disdain. That can only explain one thing. You are not worthy of possessing the demon sealing token. After saying that, he pushed the box over. The token also floated into the air. Those arrogant chosen ones who are not afraid of the cruel rules can go up to the high platform to receive it. Those who are afraid of death can leave. Although this conference has extremely high risks, the rewards are also extremely generous. Therefore, most people did not leave. Instead, they rushed forward to snatch the token. Wang Feng, on the other hand, didn't seem flustered at all. After tossing the VIP card to the elder behind him, and took his 4 beloved disciples to compete for the Demon Sealing Order. At the same time, Chen Lai announced, the Demon Sealing Conference has officially begun. All those who have obtained the token, follow me to the ancient land where the demons are sealed. After Zhu Qin saw Wang Feng in the crowd, he quickly asked Qin Xing beside him. Although Sect Master Wangs is very powerful, logically speaking, he should not meet the entry age limit of under 30 years old. Qin Xing was also confused. Maybe he just wants to escort the Sect disciples to the ancient land of Xinjue. After a while, Wang Feng and others have arrived at the entrance to the secret realm. Even though it has been sealed, but there is still some magic energy pouring out. The fat man looked a little worried, but Feng's zone was very comfortable, because with his current cultivation, it is enough to kill all the geniuses in the competition. At the same time, Li Tianxing landed with Mei Chuan Kuzi. Looking at the beloved in front of him, Kuzi's licking dog's soul instantly burned. Shiner, this time you follow me. But since Li Tianxing landed, it's like she's been looking for something. Seeing his invitation, so he turned his head coldly and said, no need. As soon as the words were spoken, Kuzi's men were unhappy, and immediately wanted to teach him a lesson. As a loyal simp, Kuzi quickly raised his hand to stop them. The rules of this year's Demon Sealing Assembly are cruel. Don't be willful anymore. Staying by my side will ensure your safety. But he never expected to be met with Li Tianxing's ruthless rejection once again. Then she walked straight towards Wang Feng. After being rejected several times, Kuzi's expression gradually turned from cloudy to stormy. I didn't expect her to love me so much. It must be because he's afraid of implicating me that he didn't team up with me. Yes, that must be it. He has a unique hobby. That is, he likes to make the beauties he likes into jade. Then he makes them into an armchair. Let them accompany him forever. Little did he know, Li Tianxin had already discovered this secret. Therefore, she chose Wang Feng without hesitation. The immortal sect has added another one because of this. 8th grade alchemy master. And before that, just as everyone was vying to enter the divine fall ancient land. However, Wang Feng was leisurely sipping second-hand Longjing tea. At this time, Fatty seemed a little puzzled, so he opened his mouth and asked, "Why don't we go in? You know, the demon sealing assembly only lasts for 3 days. If we go late, won't the magical beasts all be killed by other geniuses?" Unexpectedly, Wang Feng wasn't worried at all after hearing this. Instead, he even revealed an anti-smile. "Young man, what's the rush? If the magical beasts are all killed, can't we just rob those geniuses? Why bother with all that effort, smart people?" As soon as these words were spoken, Fatty immediately became enlightened. "You're a pretty good guy. No wonder you could become the sect master." And Wang Feng gave him a small look. Let him experience it himself. At this time, Li Tianxin had come to Wang Feng and bowed respectfully to him. Wang Feng looked a little surprised. "I don't know why Miss Li came to this sect." After listening to her, she spoke bluntly. "Tianxin wants to join the immortal sect. I hope Sect Master Wang can take her in." This absurd operation, it really startled Wang Feng. Could it be that he was bragging too much before? She wouldn't just listen to one side of the story and want to join the immortal sect. Thinking of this, he quickly asked, "The Heavenly Heart sect is in the glorious Sun Empire. It is also a top sect. Why did Miss Li join our divine immortal sect?" At this time, a drop of cold sweat involuntarily emerged on her forehead. It was a long time before she revealed the reason. "In fact, what the Heavenly Heart sect values is not my cultivation talent, but my beauty. They want to use me to climb up to the crown prince of the Sun Empire." Mei Chuan Kuzi. But Wang Feng felt that, although the Heavenly Heart sect is using you, the identity of the Empire's crown prince should be worthy of you. The crown prince's status is noble. If you can be with him, even if it was being used by the sect, it would be fine. But what Ling Tianxin didn't expect was that, although the crown prince looked noble and elegant on the outside, he was actually corrupt and degenerate within. Wang Feng's face was full of anticipation after hearing this, because he could sense that there must be a big story behind it. At this moment, Li Tianxin slowly revealed the reason. "Once, I was invited to the palace, and I accidentally wandered into the crown prince's palace. But when I walked into the hall, I found that the decorations inside were very strange, especially the chair placed in the middle. Just as I was about to take a closer look, Maikawa Kazuko suddenly walked in, so I quickly hid myself, and after he sat down on the chair, he took out a seal from his trousers, and scrutinized it carefully. Tianxin Sect's #1 beauty, Li Tianxin. When will you finally be by this prince's side?" At first, I just thought it was an ordinary chair, until he stamped the seal on it. I discovered that it was actually alive. Listening to their continuous, hair-raising wails, it was then that I suddenly realized how terrifying this prince really was. Later, after inquiring, I learned that it was all because of that seal. It said that as long as one is stamped by it, a living person will turn into jade, and Mei Chuan Kuzi used it to turn several of her favorite beauties into chairs. Upon learning all this, a hint of killing intent flashed through Wang Feng's eyes. He didn't expect that the crown prince, who was second only to the emperor, was actually a perverted scum behind his back. So he secretly swore in his heart, when the time comes to break with the Yaori Empire, he must be the first to sacrifice this beast. But what Wang Feng couldn't understand was, "You clearly know all this. Why not just betray the Tianxin sect?" Li Tianxin looked very helpless. "My family is all within the territory of the Tianxin sect. Once I betray them, my family will surely perish. At present, only you dare to be the enemy of the empire." Therefore, it also gave Tianxin a hope. But how could the 6th Prince Wang Feng be played by a woman like Bai Yan? What price do you have that can make this sect take such a big risk to accept you? Tianxin sect only knows that my cultivation talent is outstanding, but they don't know that I have such cultivation. It's all thanks to the pills Eve refined, and I am actually an 8th grade alchemist. As soon as this was said, Xiao Wu and Mu Yunfei were stunned. You know, as early as 100 years ago, for unknown reasons, it led to the demise of alchemists, formation masters, and others. The inheritance of unorthodox cultivation paths was cut off. Nowadays, in the 3 great empires, those who can reach the 8th rank and above in alchemy, absolutely no more than the number of fingers on one hand, and an 8th rank alchemy master at the age of 20. It's unheard of. Xiao Wu never expected that such a genius would take the initiative to ask to join the sect that he had easily entered before. But at this time, Wang Feng turned around. Alchemists may be for other great sects an extremely valuable existence, but for the immortal sect, it's just dispensable. Let's go. In fact, it's because of the existence of the system, even without the aid of elixirs, just relying on the cultivation drawn. It can also make the disciples' realms increase steadily. As soon as these words came out, Li He froze in place, unable to recover for a long time. He did not expect that Li Tianqin, such a peerless alchemy genius, even himself, a Xian emperor powerhouse in his previous life, would have wished to welcome her with open arms, that the sect master would actually turn her away. At the same time, Li Tianxin's expression became a little lonely. Excuse me, Tianqin will take her leave. May sect master Wang and all fellow Taoists not speak of what transpired before. Tianqin expresses her gratitude. Having said that, she silently turned her head and walked in the opposite direction. But before she could take a few steps, a shout came from behind her. Where are you going? This sovereign said to go to the Godfall ruins. As for your previous request, this sovereign has granted it. From now on, you and your family, this sovereign will protect. Whoever dares to touch them shall die. Even if the Radiance Empire comes, they shall be annihilated. Seeing that she was still in a daze, the fatty quickly reminded her. What are you still standing there for? Take advantage of the sovereign's favor while it lasts. Hurry up and pay the entrance fee. After recovering, she immediately offered up all her possessions. Disciple Li Tianqin, from now on will be for the immortal sect to work tirelessly.